I'm sorry, guys. I've been sitting here talking to myself. I am so sorry. I said, man, I fucking started early. All right, well, let's start this off again. We're starting early, but now we're starting late because I couldn't, you guys couldn't hear me. Sorry, this microphone's touchy. If I tap it, it'll shut off. So, anyway, so what I was doing is I read Dan's comment. You guys already read it, so I'm not going to read it again. But what I was saying was that that's true. With you want to get some diamond plates, and the reason why is because the whetstones are the hardest thing for a beginner to learn on. And the reason why is because they dish, sometimes they gouge, you got to keep them wet. They're just so messy and just like it's like you're focusing on the stones more than the sharpening. And in the beginning, when you're learning sharpening, the biggest thing you want to focus on is your angles and things like that. So get some diamond plates, even if you get some cheap, shitty fucking Amazon ones, it doesn't matter. They'll still work for the time that you need them to work. Obviously, spending a little bit more, they'll work better. Or not better, sorry, they'll last longer. But yes, get some diamond plates. That will massively help you. And another thing they'll do, here's another thing that it'll do too, is they cut faster. So the every bit of effort you put in on a water stone, it will be like probably like double the, double. So like every scratch or every pass will be like doing 2 or 3 on one of those. So it makes it to where you don't have to hold the angle as long. Another thing is because a diamond plate gives you so much feedback, and don't get me wrong, a lot of natural stones and water stones and aluminum oxide stones, oil stones, they give you feedback, but diamonds, man, they really give you feedback. Even though it's really gritty going across them, it's kind of easy to hold an angle on them, to be honest, or at least easier. Now, what I would recommend is get some angle guides. That will help you massively, Dan. They're just little angle guides. They're like a couple dollars. I'm sure you can find them in my store. If you go down in the description, go to Neeves Knife Store. They're just little angle guides. They just sit right on the stone. And then what that'll do is it'll make it to where you can work on one side. And every time you start your pass, you'll at least start, at the right angle. And then when you're done with one side, you can flip the angle thing over to the other side. My apologies again, guys. I'm sorry for starting off talking and you guys not hearing me. Um, got myself a Crane's Cutlery EXO-M. Nice with Zerkata. Oh, you got a good one. Waiting for another inlay paid off. I wasn't aware they did them. Tonto sold out already. Let's see if we can sell out the rest. Yeah, I'm not affiliated with them. But I will say though that there is another place that's gonna have that I am affiliated with that'll have them very soon, guys. So if you don't have the money for the Zerkatai ones, because those I gotta imagine are very expensive, there's gonna be some other ones available. I'm not sure which ones. I'm not sure if they're just the regular ones or the fat carbon fiber ones or what, but they'll be available very soon. Another thing, what's today? 2 days, guys. 2 days. There's a video going up. You guys will know it when you see it. You're not going to want to miss it. It's something we've been wanting for a long time. I'm not even going to give you guys any hints. Watch the video. 2 days. 2 days. Dan says, I got an angle guide with the whetstone, so I carry it over to a. Can I carry? Yeah, absolutely. As long as it's just the ones that rest on the stone. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. And that's what I would do. Only betas forget to give that like button a stabby stab. That's true. That is true. And that's how you can identify them. I picked up a Wichita Mountain Arkansas stone in a wood box for $1 at a garage sale yesterday. That's awesome, man. Hell yeah. Depending on, so like when you know Arkansas stones, you know how to identify them, but when you look at them, there's different cuts. Certain cuts are very expensive. So depending on what type it is, depends on the price. It can go anywhere from $20 all the way up to $100, maybe even like $200, depending on the size. But like, let's say it's like a 2x6, anywhere from $20 to like $100 is what they would go for. Like I got one right now. I paid $94. That's about this big. And I love it. Like I'm so happy I bought it. It's like kind of like one of my prized possessions when it comes to stones, even though I have stones that cost like 5 times as much. QM Fiend says if you need angle guides and have a 3D printer, you can just use one of the available STL files, or if you're into CAD, make your own. Yeah, Absolutely. Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of other things too. If you're like broke, but you have stones, I mean, you can use anything, that you can rest the spine of the knife on. Like you can stack some quarters. I would say just get some angle guides. They're so much easier. But sometimes you got to improvise. I know that's what I did. Stop showing killer knives this month. I'm all spent out. That's all right, Peter. That's all right, Peter. You'll get some money back and you'll be back in action soon. We all hit a wall, sometimes, and gotta wait for a little bit. I know that's how I am right now. I'm waiting for Blade Show. I started thinking about some stuff, and we're actually going to go through some stuff. I want to talk about some stuff from Blade Show because that's what we're going to get into. I know a lot of you guys are not going to Blade Show, but I think a lot of the information I'm going to talk about is still going to relate just fine. So it doesn't matter if you're going or not, but it'll, I'm speaking kind of in general because of Blade Show, but it matters, period. Black Arkansas are the most expensive ones. Yeah, Jim. Those ones are the most expensive. If it's, so let me be clear. If it's a soft black, then it's not. But if it's a hard black, meaning put a light on it, like a flashlight on it, and see if you can kind of see through it. If it's like somewhat translucent, then it's the expensive one. There are black cuts that aren't translucent that are still really expensive. It's the density. Like if it's like glass, then that's the really expensive ones. They're also the finest grits. The cheaper ones are going to be the white with like, they kind of have like black speckles on them, but they're a little bit softer. They're almost brick like, they feel just like a regular rock, but the expensive ones are like a polished rock. That's kind of the difference. How viable is the improvised sandpaper and soft foam book sharpening method? One of my kukri makers instructs their buyers to resharpen this way. I will see if I can find the video. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know if I know that one. I guess it's just like the same way you do a Scandi, I'm guessing. If it's the same way you do a Scandi, I mean, yeah, it works for sure. Any updates on the EMP relative drop date? I don't have any, but I'm sure you could go ask them because they're pretty easy to get a hold of. I can't wait to see it. I've always wanted to go. All right, so does RWL 34 strap back? Well, yes, it does. It actually is going to strap back very similar to 154 CM. So if you understand 154 CM, it's very similar, like the RWL 34 and 154 CM. Like edge retention, everything basically. It's kind of the same. I've asked, they didn't respond. Oh, well, just ask again. Just ask again. Sometimes they're busy. Jared, I'm loving that. I'm Mamba. Been carrying it off for a week. Hell yeah. Hell, some simple math and any object you can find the angle. Right, that's true. That's true. And listen, if you really want to know, you go watch it online, but there's a paper trick. All you do is you just fold it and then fold the corner twice, and you can get a perfect 22.5-degree angle from just one piece of paper. But it doesn't really do you much because what are you going to do with the paper after? It just kind of gives you an idea of the angle. But yeah, if you're wanting a fast sharpening, the higher the angle, the faster it's going to go. But it's also not going to be as sharp. We merely adopted 154 CM. Jared was born into it. His Kaiser original button lock worth $30 more than the Sen cut button locks? No. Yes, if you it depends, because no, it's not. No, it's not. So I got the original right here. I grabbed the wrong one. I like the original a lot. It depends on which one you want. Like I love this XL one is probably the better version for me, and it's titanium frag, but it's going to be a little bit more money. But the Sen cut button locks are the best button locks as far as budget button locks goes. The Sen cuts, the Civivis, the Wiis, they're probably doing the best job when it comes to button locks, in my opinion. Not saying that the original is not great. It is. It's really good. I've got like 5 of them, but Send cuts are, you know, they're and I'm not gonna sit here and try to get you to spend more money just because, right? Like, I'm gonna tell you which one's probably the better one, and send cuts probably doing a better job. Of course, if you're considering materials and everything, the original is gonna have the better materials. But as far as the build quality and stuff goes, both of them are equal in build quality, right? Both of them are equal in build quality, but send cut or Civivi, we, whatever, is doing a little bit better job with their button locks. That's the difference. And I think Civivi might do slightly a better job on their heat treat, and their geometry is always really good. Not saying Kaiser doesn't have really good geometry too, because they do. We is definitely dialed in the button lock system. I know it's crazy how fucking good they've gotten them. Even like this one, even this cheap, you know, like this Civivi Cubit, man. Perfect button lock. And this is a very thin blade. So to have that good of action on just like on such a light blade, like this thing is 2.5 ounces. This thing is very lightweight. This is like a perfect jogger's knife, or like, you know, somebody who cares about ounces, you know, backpackers, joggers, things like that. This is a good one. I've been actually using it when I've been working out and stuff. Just pulled the trigger on the bag knife Astro. Very cool. Yeah, that's another one, man. That's another one. This thing is damn good. Yeah, you see, I got schmuck all over it. I've been carrying the heck out of this thing. It is so good. I can't believe how I understand now. This actually makes me understand why when I think it was Jim Skelton, the first time I ever seen a Todd bag was on Jim Skelton's video, and he was talking about how good the action was. I got to imagine that's even better than this because it's, you know, so much money. But even just this is like one of the best flippers. Like it's hard to stop flipping. Like it's so addictive. The flipper tab's so comfortable, and you just break that detent and it snaps out. I even handed it to somebody who constantly fails knives. Like I handed them a kick stop and they failed it. Right? Like I've handed them knives and it's almost like they're like, wow, wow. Like every time I handed them this, it was just like pow. It was almost like it was an automatic to him. Hey, Chris Jones with the 5 bones. Thank you, brother. Spent all my loot this month on smelling goods. Paco Rabanne Invictus is nice. So is Diesel Bad. Yeah, Invictus is really sweet. Really sweet. So the fragrance of the day when we come to it here in you know, an hour or so is going to be office fragrances. And the reason why is because the Blade Show coming up, I figured I would talk about fragrances that you will wear in crowds, fragrances you wear at work, fragrances you wear around people, fragrances that will never make anybody upset, but you'll smell nice and fresh, but it's nothing that will be revolting, nothing that will make anybody choke, nothing like that. Like these are perfect, that like literally the perfect fragrances for office or like work or events. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about, and I know some of you guys aren't going to be into this, but I don't give a shit. You're going to have to deal with it. I want to talk about dress codes, not dress codes, but like dressing for the cause, right? Dressing for the cause, whether it is going to a Blade show or just in your day-to-day life, right? Because I think a lot of us men, we tend to let our styles get old. That's one thing. And we tend to just not give a shit, right? We tend to just not give a shit. You guys are all guilty of it. So am I. So it's okay. I can rub it in a little bit because I'm guilty of it too. So, but the way you dress and the way you carry yourself, you know, clothing wise and your fit wise, your shoes wise, all that stuff wise, it carries you a lot farther. Like you get treated different, people respond to you differently. There's just so much that goes to dressing appropriately for the cause, whatever it is, right? Think about this. This is just a good way to put it. A construction worker, right? If you seen a guy walk up in a suit and tie and he was about to do roofing on your house, you would be like, what the fuck is going on? Right? Like you wouldn't give him the respect that you would with somebody who shows up with a tool belt, right? Like same concept goes with everything else in life, right? Like if somebody shows up and they look a certain way, like say to an event, right, where people are close in, you know, in proximity and everything, or maybe on a date, or you know, whatever, right? There's so many different places you'll go, wherever you go, right? Like, you got to dress for the cause. And even if you're a construction worker, that doesn't mean when you get off that you're not supposed to dress appropriately for whatever event or whatever thing you're going to go to. Like, even with me, when I was doing construction, man, I was dirty as hell, ripped clothes, all messed up, covered in shit. But then when I got off after I took a shower, I dressed completely different. Or on the weekends when I'd go out and party and hang out with all my friends and stuff, I dressed completely different. You know, I'd wear button ups and things like that, and, you know, dress like a G. But what I want to talk about right now is, because I think because I don't think a lot of guys understand like color coordinations and things. So just really quick, this will be really brief, and just to give you an idea of colors, right? So everybody has a skin tone color, and you got to understand like how colors work with your skin tone. There's 3 skin tones, right? So there's a cold, there's warm, which so it'll be like very, very pale skin will be more cold, or light skin. Very light skin would be more cold. Very dark skin will be warm. And then there's neutral, right? Neutral will be like I would be technically considered a neutral, right? Um, then and there's like little variations of all 3, right? There's a spectrum on all 3, but certain skin tones want to stay away from certain colors. And then it's not that you can't wear those colors, it's that there's better colors for you. So like, say somebody pale, right? Somebody pale with red hair or something, you're not going to want to wear pinks, oranges, things like that. It's too close to your skin tone. It'll look like shit. You want to wear dark greens, dark blues, things like that. And then in some cases, like if you're really pale, black might not be good either, because black would be too much, but darker shades would be good. But you guys get what I'm saying. I'm saying like you want to do somewhat the opposite of your skin tone, whatever that tone is. And I could go on for hours about skin tones and colors and everything, but I don't want to bore you guys with that. But what I was going to get into by saying all this is the neutral colors that work for everybody, right? There's a specific colors that literally nobody can go wrong with. And these are the colors like to kind of go for if you don't know, right? Like if you don't know and you're like, oh man, I don't know what colors work for me. So, and that is natural colors. So stuff you see outside, right? Like in the earth, like dark browns, dark greens, dark blues, any type of like basically like dark color that's an earth tone colors. Earth tone colors work really good. And if you want to wear a brighter color and you have a certain skin tone color, if you really have to wear it and it's not good with your skin tone, then you can wear like a jacket with it that's darker, or the opposite, you know, like you can wear something else dark, like say for the bottoms, like for your pants or something. But anyways, I think a lot of guys don't think about this at all when they're getting clothes, right? And I know a lot of you guys are thinking right now, like, yeah, I've never thought about that. I know you haven't. That's why I'm talking about it. So getting then the next biggest part, because it doesn't matter even if you got all the color coordinations down really, really good, you got the shoes down, doesn't matter if the clothes don't fit. Make sure they fit well, right? A shirt and pants should fit, right? We're out of baggy, right? We used to be baggy. Baggy used to be in style, and it ain't no more. So baggy makes you look like you're stuck in the 90s. I'm sorry to say it, but it does. So you want to get away from baggy. You want to wear fit jeans. With a shirt, you don't want to wear super baggy loose jeans. It makes you look it makes you look worn. That's the problem. That's what it does. It makes you look worn. And listen, man, you take a picture of me 2, 3, 4 years ago. I was doing it. So I'm not talking shit or judging. But you want like your t-shirts, you know, you want them to stop at your tricep, right? You can go a little bit below or a little bit above, but you don't want to go too far above and you don't want to go too far below, right? There's a happy medium area where you want your sleeves. With your shirt, like the bottom of it, you want to stop halfway down your groin or your zipper, right? Your zipper, you want to stop halfway down your zipper. You don't want it too far below that, and you don't want it above that. That's the spot. That's the spot you want it, right there in the middle of your zipper. And then obviously we can talk about footwear, and we're going to talk about actually some shoes and boots. I know a lot of you guys like shoes and boots. I'm more of a boots guy, so I'm not really going to talk about shoes, but what's really cool is the mixture between shoes and boots. And I kind of get into those where it's like it's not quite a boot, but it's not quite a shoe, but it's really stylish. Um, Here's just an example. I actually picked up some of these. They're not USA made or nothing, but and I wish they were, but Thomas and Vine makes some kind of like this. I did pick up a pair a while back, and they're not that expensive. Let me pull it up really quick. They're actually pretty affordable. What you get too. What's that sound? Come on. What the hell? Oh, there we go. Okay, so you see how it's kind of like a boot shoe kind of combo, and there's all different kinds here, guys. Like this is just like one set. Um, kind of like this. But these are pretty stylish though. You can dress these up or dress them down. That's kind of the beauty of them. Well, this is obviously dress up over here, but we're not talking about that. No, no, fuck these. These are really nice. This is kind of cool. Check that out. This is kind of slick, actually. Look at that. That's pretty cool. It almost looks like a snake skin, but it's just the way they finished the leather. But it's got the fabric with the leather. You can see it's got a 360 Goodyear welt stitch, which is good. That just means that it's stitched from that's a piece of leather right there. It's stitched from there all the way through. So you can't see my finger right now, but it's stitched all the way through the bottom so that you don't have to worry about your toe coming off or the heel coming off. Everybody's had that before, right? You get a shoe and you wear them so long they start coming apart. Um Sorry guys. I don't know what happened. Um Anyways, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that. I thought and like I was gonna look at some other boots. Let's check out some Thursdays because Thursdays actually have some Chelsea's, and Chelsea's is another one that I've been kind of getting into. I know they're not everybody's style, and they weren't always mine either. But man, I've really fell in love with them. That's probably what I'm gonna be wearing to Blade Show is my Thursday boots, my Thursday Chelsea's. I'll show you guys. They have USA made boots. The Chelsea's are made in Mexico. Um, but uh, but yeah, they have really, really nice boots though. The Captain and the President, these are both made in the USA. This is the best affordable USA made boot. I'm gonna say that again. This is the best affordable boot. You're not gonna find a better $200 American made boot. So just saying. Here's some Chelsea's over here. The legend right there. That's a Chelsea. I don't have these ones. I have the Dukes, but it's an idea of what a Chelsea is. It's a slip-on boot, but it wears similar to a shoe, kind of like the way it shot from that. The way it walks, the way it feels. Now, like I said, it slips on, so it's not going to be super tight around your ankle or anything, but you can walk in them very comfortably, and to me they're super duper comfortable. Let me find the ones I have really quick. I'll show you guys. I also have oh no, not a pair of these. I would say I have a pair of boots, but they're not from these guys. Here we go. Cavalier. Where's the Dukes? Come on. Stomper. Why am I not seeing the Dukes? They got some nice shit though. There it is. So this is what I have. I have this exact color too, but you can see they come in all different colors. But I bought the olives because I have an olive green belt, and it looks so good, man. It's got like a suede outside to it, slips right on, super easy. Like I can like literally run in and out of the house fast with them, like just right on, and they're super duper comfortable. But but no, I thought it was just thought we'd talk about a little bit about like fit clothes and things like that, because I don't think a lot of guys think about it enough, and you should, because I think it helps you give a better impression. And I think we all know that, it's just some of us just don't care enough, but I think you should. You're a boot junkie too? Yeah, me too. I'm not quite a junkie, but I'm like, you know, I'm on the verge. I'm definitely on the verge. If you're going to a big show, you have to have something comfortable. Well, no, what I was going to say is for the show, you should wear tennis shoes. My Chelsea boots are, dude, they're so comfortable. I that's what I wore. I wore at Texas. I was great. Um, but I also wore my Red Wings because I'm a boot guy. So I wore my Red Wings one day. I wore my Chelsea's another day. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna bring my Chelsea's that, and then I actually have a pair of the shoes I just showed you guys, some Thomas and Vines. They're tennis shoes, and they have the 360 stitch. I can show them to you guys. I think they're, oh no, they're upstairs. Anyways, they have the 360 stitch again, and they're really comfortable shoe. Like they're a high top shoe that's super duper comfortable. But that's what I would recommend. If you're not used to wearing boots, don't wear boots. Fuck no, don't wear boots. You're gonna be fucked up. It's like you're dancing. Seriously, like it's like dancing for 6 to 8 hours. You like because you're constantly stepping forward and backwards and turning and back. It's like you're just moving in a way you're not used to moving because there's so many people, so many angles. You're turning constantly. You're standing in line. You have people coming this way, people coming like it's just so crowded that it's like you're dancing. So 6 hours of dancing is going to mess you up. You're going to wish you had shoes. But like I said, I wore boots. I was good, but I'm also wore boots, forever. And I also, before I did, I broke them boots and really good. I have Thursday boots. They're great. Yeah, no, they are good. I love mine. I want to get the Presidents. That's another because I love USA made boots. My Chelsea's are Mexico made, but I'm still happy with Mexico made, by the way. But I want to get the Presidents. The reason why I haven't gotten the Presidents from Thursday is because they're so close to my Red Wing Iron Rangers that it's like they kind of serve the same purpose. You know what I mean? My first pair of boots broke me in, not the other way around. Well, so this is the thing. You have to know how to break in a boot. So depending on the type of boot, certain boots take, like, say, my Red Wings. I'm just going to give you an example. My Red Wing Iron Rangers took 100 hours of break-in time. For 50 hours, probably, they were like walking on 2x4s. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about painful, but they're supposed to be that way. I know that sounds crazy. Like, why is a boot supposed to be painful? Well, it's supposed to be painful because it's made to break in. They recommend only wearing them an hour to 2 hours a day for like the first week. And like, if you have work, if you're taking it to work, wear your other work boots and then throw those on for like an hour or two and then switch back to your other work boots, break them in slowly because they're made to last for a long time. Other boots that you slip right on and they're super comfortable right off the bat, they're gonna wear out faster. It's just inevitable, right? They're already broken in, they're already super soft. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna wear through them. Something that's uncomfortable, especially if it's from leather, thick slabs of leather, that leather softens up. That leather becomes like a glove. That leather gets malleable and it winds up like basically being a glove on your foot over time. But yes, I've had plenty of them that broke me too. My first pair of Red Wings, I bled because I didn't know this. I was like 15, 16, got a pair of Red Wings for construction, and my feet were, I'm not exaggerating, were bleeding, like literally bleeding. But eventually they broke in and they became the most comfortable boots I ever had, even to this day. Why is it so hard to find? Why is it so hard to find if I knife? What has hollow or flat grind these days? Why is it so hard to find out if they have a hollow or flat grind these days? Was looking for any nice budget hollows, and boy, not a single store has that spec. So I can give you some suggestions, but one company that has a lot of hollows is Civivi. Civivi has a ton of hollow grinds, so that would be a good one to look for. And then what you do is you go to the specs from the knife. So if you go to Blade HQ, go to use my link down in the description. When you go into the description, or sorry, when you click the button on whatever knife you want to check out, look up specs, and below that it'll tell you if it's a hollow or a flat or anything like that. But you have to actually look for it. Like, I know what you mean. You want to be able to just find it from that. But like I said, check out, if you're looking for that price range, check out Civivi. Civivi's a good one to do because they have some sick, nasty hollow grinds. Probably the best for as far as budget knives go. What are US knife addicts craving besides Magna Cut? I would say probably Vanax, and I would say Crewwear. Crewwear, Vanax, K390, things like that. I know that's what I want more of, is some more Crewwear. Do not wear a blanket in public, people. I mostly agree. I wear baggy clothes and sandals on a day-to-day basis. Tees, okay? Um, I would say get away from, I'm not, it depends on, like, what type of baggy clothes you're talking about, but if you're wearing, like, regular clothes, like pants, jeans, and a t-shirt and stuff, I would say stay away from the baggy, unless if you're, like, out on the beach or something, right? Like, if you're out on the beach, some baggy shorts or something, that's one thing, but if you're out and about in society, like, I would say try to dress your best, try to look as good as possible, because, like, everybody knows the guy who looks like he hasn't changed his wardrobe since high school, right? You don't want to be that. Who wants to be the fucking guy? I don't. I mean, if you want to be that guy, go out and be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. But I'm not going to judge you for being that guy. Well, I mean, I probably would, just like everybody else would, but I don't give a shit. Crewwear is the bomb. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. I'm trying with the design that I have coming. I'm trying to get Crewwear. I'm not sure if it's going to be possible or not, but I'm trying, doing my best. I was wanting that or K390. Crewwear doesn't have the edge retention. Crewwear has just fine edge retention. I don't know what you're talking about. Compared to what? S110V? Like, there's so you can't. This is a problem with some of the people in the knife community, and you got to stop, because edge retention is one factor. It's one factor. It's kind of like this, right? Certain steels will say outcut another steel, but they also don't. The type of edge that they hold is completely different than another, right? So, like, while they might be able to cut paper, right, for a long time, because they'll cut for a long time, while another knife might not cut quite as long as that, but the difference is the other one feels super duper sharp. Like, the way, like, you touch it and it's like, holy shit, this is sharp, while the other one loses that. And yes, it has a working edge. Yes, it'll continue cutting paper for a fucking long time, in between cutting rope or cardboard. But it's, there's certain attributes, just like the stain resistance, the toughness, what type of angles it takes, what type of edges it takes, what type of finishes, like, all these things are factors. And edge retention is just one of those, right? So there's a lot of steels that have phenomenal edge retention that I personally don't want every day. And there's some, like, the reason why I don't want them is because I can't do, like, say if I want a mirror polished edge. Well, there's a lot of steels that have edge retention, like Maximat. Maximat has some of the best edge retention out of any steel, but it doesn't take a good polish. As soon as it'll take a polish, but it won't hold a polish. And the reason why is because, like I was just talking about, Maximet has a low ability to hold a fine edge. So it holds a working edge for a very long time. So I said this in the last live. Out of 100% of its edge retention, 80% of it is working edge. Only 20% is fine edge. So what happens is its high level of sharpness goes downhill fast. And then it just holds a working edge for a very long time. Steels like Crewwear holds a fine edge for 80% and then 20% working edge. So it holds a ridiculous level of sharpness up until it starts going dull. But then when it starts going dull, it drops down dramatically. So it's just the differences. But, depending on what you want and what's important to you, if it's just edge retention and that's all that's important to you, and it's not high levels of sharpness or anything like that, and it's literally just a working edge, then yeah, I mean, I would say there's a lot of steels that are out there specifically for that. A lot of them are not going to have toughness, though. That's one thing. Um, I like Queen Eyes, but some limited editions are overpriced. Do you agree? Um, I mean, yes and no. So I agree that they are getting expensive, but I don't agree that they're maybe overpriced. And you hear me out though, hear me out because there are times where I say yes. So take that how you want. There's a lot of times you'll hear in my video where I'll say this is too overpriced, and I say that. But I also got to take into consideration that if that knife was made, like let's just for an example, the new Wee Knives, Excitation, Exciton, whatever, however it's pronounced, or the Ziphius, right? If those were made in the USA, they would be $1,000. I'm like, no joke, they'd be $1,000, 100%. So when you think about that, you start thinking like, is it overpriced? Like, yeah, it's pricey, it's expensive, but and it is made overseas, but that's why it's also the price it is, right? If it was made in anywhere else, Taiwan, Russia, USA, Italy, it'd be fucking, between $700 and $1,000. So, and there's many cases I see $1,000 knives that are not even as good as it, and I mean that. Yeah, thank you. Seems logical. I think there's only one available left, and that's the really premium one, as far as the Exotishu goes. But yeah, you you got to be willing you got to look at the details, like, like there are some details that I wish were better, like in some cases I wish, their HRC was a little bit higher, but then again, I don't want to keep saying that because I've been saying that for a while, and I'm gonna get some HRC tested. I'm gonna talk to somebody in the community that I've already talked to, and I'm gonna send some knives their way and have them stamp it and see what the HRC is, because I don't want to keep dragging them for something that I haven't tested. So even though it's something that they admit, but we'll see. And then, maybe do an edge retention test or something too. Ziphius is worth every penny. I agree. I agree. Ziphius and the Exciton, or whatever, however the hell it's pronounced. Um, Exition or something. When is Shuro gonna do a kickstop? I have no idea. Um, I agreed if Ziphius was made in the USA, it would be a grand, probably. Absolutely. Absolutely. All you got to do is point to Brian Nadeau. Brian Nadeau, Todd Begg, point to those guys, right? How much are their knives? Because that's what it would be. It'd be about the price of theirs. And a lot of the companies that we're paying for right now that are $600-700 from America are nowhere near that level. They're just not, right? Like of course I root for the USA 100%. And in most cases, I'd tell you to spend your money with the USA. But it's just a lie to say that these knives are better than those, especially with certain ones. Certain ones, yes, they are. Certain ones, no. As far as heat treat goes, though, that's where the USA, and that's why I think that it's so important for the USA to stick to that. We have got to hold ourselves to a fucking high standard for steels, as far as different steels and heat treats and HRCs and things like that, because that is one thing that we have in the bag over a lot of other companies, is that, at least the majority. Bought the Excitation after watching. I could flip it for an extra $100 and wouldn't. Exactly. I know they so quick. Yeah, like I said, there's the expensive ones left. You can get the ones in Damasteel right now. Even some of the Tucson's, which are 100 to 200, would be 500 easy. Yeah, fuck yeah, it would be. Absolutely, it would be 100%. Especially the ones with like contoured titanium scales and inlays and shit. Absolutely. Can't wait for the Chads to arrive. Gonna be a game changer for HRC. Most expensive knife I have is either my Hephaestus or my one Katsu. Nice. What do you think of Kaiser's S35? I have a drop bearing S35 and it seems a bit soft. Um, I don't think it's soft, but I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for yours because all like in all, I would say they do an okay job with it. And I say that because S35 for the most part is easy to do. You gotta remember, S35 was actually made for knives, and it's not a hard steel for companies to heat treat. So I've never had no problems with their S35. I imagine it's pretty decent. Now that doesn't mean that you can't get a lemon. That can go with any steel across the board. And if you have a problem and you think and you really truly feel like it's soft, like man, there's something wrong, tell them to replace it. They will, or at least they should. I've sharpened 15V with my Veneve stones. I sharpened loads of knives and a good bunch of K390. For the life of me, I can't get this thing sharp at 15 degrees. Help me. Okay. What are you using? Are you using a system or are you just freehanding on Veneves? If you're using the system, you should be just fine. But if you must be freehanding. I'm guessing you're freehanding. What is the problem? The burr? Is the burr the problem, Jude? Give me some more information, Jude. Tell me what the problem is. Please make some more in-depth sharpening videos. I got some coming very soon. I got a really good one coming. Yeah, I agree. I agree. They them doing the new snacks design from Civivi, that's a good idea. And they are. That looks pretty cool. What was that? Holds fine edge for 80% of its edge retention steel. Oh, that was crew wear. So here, just to give you guys a better example, let me just write it down on paper. So hopefully you guys will be able to see this. Opposite. Okay, so like if we look at this chart right here really quick, okay, I have two different ones. So the top one would be like Maximet. The bottom one would be like crew wear. Okay, so if I was going to cut, say, rope or cardboard, right, over and over and over and over and over, and then keep testing the edge on paper to see how long it'll cut for, right? Then that would be like working edge, right? How long will it cut paper for would be the entirety of the edge until it stops cutting paper. Fine edge would be like hair whittling or sorry, hair shaving, right? So Maximet well, say if you're cutting rope or cardboard or something, right? If you keep cutting cardboard, it's only going to last a little bit of time shaving hair. That shaving hair is going to go downhill quick and it's not going to shave hair no more. But the cutting paper part will last a long time. Crew wear will take and the fine edge, the part where it's shaving hair still after cutting, you cut like 50 ropes and then check it and then 50 more and check it, right? The fine edge of shaving hair will last a long time. But then once that fine edge goes away, the working edge doesn't last very long. So it's 80% fine and about 20%, give or take working edge. So then so once it stops like shaving hair, once you start cutting paper because it won't shave hair no more, it's going to go downhill really quick and it's not going to cut paper very long after that. Hey, Jared, after watching your videos on the Chapman Lake Knives Company, I live in the same town and got a hold of them and was able to visit the shop in person and see all their machines. That is awesome, man. Hell yeah. I'm going to see them at Blade Show Atlanta. That's awesome, man. Hell yeah. They seem like some really good people. They seem like some really good dudes. My S30V holds an edge better than most of other steels. It's probably Spyderco. I'm gonna guess it's Spyderco because I agree with that. I think S30V. So I know some people love S35VN. I personally like S30V more. I like S35, but S30V to me is even better, and I'm pretty sure it holds a better edge. But S35 is tougher. That's the difference. So, but man, there's so many attributes of S35VN that I like more in S30V over S35. But both of them are still good. And yeah, I think S30V is a super solid steel. I love S30V. No problems with it at all. Let me see if that guy ever answered me about. Jude says, dude, no burr. It just does not slice at the tip for whatever reason. Maybe a small micro burr. So you got to be able to accumulate the burr. Do something. Raise your. I know you're trying to do 15 degrees, right? So 15 degrees. Remember this. 15 degrees is going to take you probably 4 times as long as it will a 20-degree angle. The lower the angle, the longer it will take, right? Like if you went from 17, like 20 to 17, right? That's going to take you a lot longer. Now, if you drop down to 15, it's going to take you even longer to go from 15 to 17. So, you know, remember that, right? Pay attention to your grip pattern. Watch your grip pattern, right? This is how it's going to go. This is how it should go. If you're doing it right, this is how it's going to go. Let's say this is your edge, right? This is your edge. Your sharpening is going to start up here, right? At the top of the bevel. Don't mind me going beyond the top of the bevel with my scratches, but that's where your scratches are going to start, right? And you're going to slowly move them more and more and more closer to the apex, right? Eventually, they're going to hit the apex. Sharpen until then. Sharpen until you see the scratches going consistently at an angle like that to the apex. Once you get to that point, you should have a burr. Now, as far as the tip goes, lock your wrist. Your wrist is probably fluctuating. You are probably doing this, and you don't even realize it. Trust me, like it's the smallest movement. Lock your wrist. Lock it, and use your elbow. Look, like this. No wrist movement. And then when you go to deburr, do the same thing. You know, flip it over and do a reverse pass, but lock your wrist, because when you're sharpening, like say when you sharpen, you go like this, that little bit right there, I just changed angles. Like I'm doing 15 degrees right now. Now all of a sudden I'm 17. Now I'm 20. Now I'm 12, right? Like that's just moving your angle. So lock your wrist and focus on that grip pattern. Don't focus on time. Let it take as long as it's going to take. Because once you do it, this is the thing, Jude, as soon as you do it, you'll be able to do it faster the next time. This is the time when it's going to take the longest because you're reprofiling it. But now, once you set it, once that bevel's set, you'll be able to do it in the future, probably in 15, 20 minutes. But right now, it's probably going to take you an hour and a half to do that. And watch some of my sharpening videos. Hopefully they can help. Are you a member, Jude? Because if you were a member, I'd say, if you want to, man, become a member, sign up to the membership. If you, I mean, it's up to you if you want to do this, but the top members, I do one-on-one sharpening with, if you wanted to do that. But if you just become a regular member, we do, a couple lives a month with live sharpening, where I sharpen live and we can sit here and talk about it. Locking the wrist is super important. It is so important. So important, especially like obviously when you become a pro, you can start fluctuating your wrist. But right now, stay away from that. Don't fluctuate your wrist. You're gonna have so much bigger chance. And you know, I did this too. Like I heard people say that when I first started, and I was like, no, fuck that. I want to start off a pro, right? I'm not gonna lock my wrist because they're not locking the wrist because they're pros, right? So I'm like, well, I want to act like a pro. Now I lock my wrist all the time because it's a better way to do it. And then there's going to be times where, yes, you're going to fluctuate your wrist, but that's not until you really get it down with locking your wrist. What do I think of it? Oh, yeah, well, that was something I had written down. Actually, we haven't even talked about half the shit I wrote down to talk about. So I've been waiting for that knife. Listen to this. This makes me so mad. I've been waiting for that knife for like a year and a half, and I'm not exaggerating. You guys know that that's been on Blade HQ's coming soon for like ever. Well, I paid for the prepay like well over a year ago. And I've almost forgot about it, like, because it's been so long. Well, 2 months ago, one of our credit cards got hacked, and I had to shut it down, and I had to get a new one, right? So I had to get a new one. So it wasn't hooked up with BLEU HQ no more. Finally, this thing drops after however long, and I forget to renew my credit card with Blade HQ, so they don't even send it to me. So it's like I know I could just buy it right now. I know that, but I'm almost like, woo! Because now that I think about it, man, I don't even want it now. I wait back then I did. I don't want it now. I'm about to go to Blade show. I got more other money to spend. Like it's like that's a lot of money. Yes, I think it's overpriced. I do. I want listen, I want Benchmade to make as much money as they possibly can. I want Spyderco, I want Hogue, I want all these companies to make their damn money. I really, really, truly do. So anytime I criticize the money, I'm doing it just like logically, because from a business standpoint, I want them to succeed. I want them to be successful, but there's a limit. There's a line. There's a line in the sand, and it's like they're not only to it, they are past it, because some of these prices are like, how do you get this price? Like, it doesn't make sense. How is your price as much as some smaller companies' titanium models? I understand you have a reputation. I understand. I understand you got a great warranty. I understand all these details, but it's like, man, there's companies out there that have the better materials, smaller companies. So they have a lot of handwork involved. Well, Benchmade probably don't have no much handwork, right? So it's hard to see their price. $270 for that little tiny knife. But yeah, we're talking about the immunity. But I like the way it looks. I'd love to have it. I'd love to own it. If it would have been 6 months ago or 8 months ago, I would be owning it right now. But I guess I got lucky. Who are the major production level American makers? Hogue, Benchmade, TRM, Spyderco. Who else belongs in that list? Um, yeah, I'd say Benchmade, Spyderco, Hogue. You could say Buck. You could say Case. You could say yeah, TRM, American Blade Works, Tactile, Tactile. Yeah, those are going to be the Microtech, yeah, for ProTech. So all those. There's a few others, but those are going to be the main booze. There has been a ton of gouging going on. Happens every inflation. I know, and that's the thing. I understand it too, and I don't think it's bandwagon. I think it is they're paying more, right? They're paying more. Everything costs more. So things that cost more, they have to charge more. But I think there's a limit. Like there's a point of which it's like, did it go up that much? But and maybe it did, and maybe it's just like maybe they need to do something else. I don't know. But if people are buying it, then they're going to charge it. But I guarantee if people weren't buying it, they wouldn't be charging that. They would figure out a way to fluctuate that price. Because there is a point in here. Here we go. This is a good way to think about it. There's other companies using the exact same materials, the exact same everything for a lot less. So that tells you that, and I'm not saying they have to charge the exact same, because they could pay their workers more. They could have better, better things, insurances and things like that. So I don't want to take that out of the thing, but it's got to be somewhat similar, right? Like it's somewhat similar. Like you can't say like, okay, the same thing is $200 more, right? Or $100 more, maybe $20 more, maybe $50 more. But we start talking about like $100 more. It's like, whoa, wow. Like think about I know Spyderco just raised their price, right? I know Spyderco just raised their price. Like, what is the Crew Wear PM2? $200 now, $205 or something like that. I seen a S45 VN aluminum scaled PM2 on Smoky Mountain Knife Works right now for $200. $200 aluminum scales and S45 VN. So that's like $70 more than that. And why they put it on washers. Yeah, that I wish that they would step into the realm of bearings as well. I'm glad like ProTech has. I'm glad Microtech does. But yeah, I would love to see I'd love to see Spyderco too. Spyderco, but they do such a good job. I don't want to take it away though, because I do love their washer action knives. They got killer washer action knives. And I like washers. I don't, I love washers, man. There's some phenomenal washer action knives. Like, look at that. That's fall shut, but I'd love to see what they could do with some bearings. $200 for aluminum, better be top. It's a Spyderco PM2 and S45, so it's USA made. USA made S45, $200. Yeah, that's fucking not too bad. You gotta think. This is, where's it at? Come on. I know you're right here. This is $179, 20 CV and aluminum, and it's made in China. So, hey, custom EDC knives. Hey, everyone, how's it going? Not too bad. I do want to talk about something though, really quick. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. All right. So, I know a lot of us are going to Blade Show. And if you guys are short on some cash, maybe you need to get some funds back together, you can check out Nafsale.com and sell some of that, sell some of those knives you got just sitting in boxes, sitting around the house, collecting dust. Let somebody else get their hands on it and they can start using it since you obviously ain't. Then you can worry about buying some other knives. You can buy and sell on Nafsale. So you can take your knives. Here we go, right here. Somebody's got their tactile Maverick for $350. They have a ton of knife listings if you want to just buy knives, but if you want to sell your knives, you can sell your knives on there. They only take, look at that, there's a Koenig on there. Holy shit. Damn, there's some nice stuff on here. But anyways, they only take 7.5%. So it's a very small percentage. There's no risk. That's the beautiful thing. There's no risk for the buyer or the seller. They take all the risk. If anything happens, they take the fault. They take the blame. So you don't have to worry about anything happening. That's a beautiful thing. It really is. So check out nafsale.com. I know you guys ask me all the time. It's weird how many times I've brought up Nafsale and how many times you guys still ask me like, hey, where do I sell my knives? Where do you sell your knives? Where do you sell your knives? Right here. This is where you sell your knives. Sell your knives at Nafsale. They also have brand new knives too. So you see this, these are all brand new Giant Mouse knives. So it's not that they only have used knives. They have brand new knives. They have used knives. So you can buy, sell, not trade yet. Maybe that'll be coming soon. But anyways, definitely check them out. Nafsale.com. I have it. Do I have it linked in the description? If I don't, it doesn't matter because I'm going to link it right now. But the one of the moderators are going to put it in the chat right now. Can one of the moderators put a link to nafsale.com? I'm going to put it at the top of the description. So right now it's at the top of the description. If you just refresh your page, you will see it. But shout out to nafsale.com. It's a great service. It really is, because there's so many people that sell knives for other people because they have a channel, and it can become frustrating. It's hard to deal with, all the shipping and everything. This makes it where you can easily have a place to sell your knives to recoup some money for things like Blade Show. So maybe you need to get some funds together. Check out Nafsale. I know pretty soon here I'm going to be doing a major knife sale. So anyways, Mino Knives with the 5 bones. Jared, I want to put together the ultimate Spyderco pair 3. Which scales are you buying for, and which blade steel, clip, and bearings? Well, the pair 3, I'm not sure all the steels the pair 3 comes in, because I'm more of a pair 2 fan. But the S45, I know it comes in. I'm not sure what other steels it comes in. So S90V, K390 would be the best, but if you can't get it in K390, then crew wear. If you can't get it in crew wear, then probably S90V. If you can't get it in S90V, then probably S45 or S30V is even good too. As far as scales go, I would get some I would go to my original goat link and see if there's any titanium ones available from my original goat link. You can get 15% off by using my discount code. But if not, then I would look at Flytanium or something like that. I'd personally get titanium. But if you don't want titanium, you can get micarta, you can get whatever. There are so many scales. Another one, Rips Garage. Rips Garage has some really nice scales. I'm not sure if they have any para 3s available right now, but they have some really nice scales. And what you should do is get a skinny mod. So get the scales that don't have the finger choil thing where it's just nice and smooth. Get that one, the skinny mod. Really, really cool. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Yes, there is a link to Nafsale. Definitely go and check them out. It's an awesome, awesome service. I was counting on YouTube being smarter than it is. That's funny. And shout out to Custom EDC Knives. He's got his, I don't have it right here right now, but he's got his worn tack for sale on his site still. And he has, check this out, he has full hollow ground versions. So this is he's doing regrinds. So he's done regrinds on some of them that you can get for the regular price of I think $300. But if you want to save money, I think he's possibly still doing a sale for like 225. Maybe it's at 250. I'm not 100%. Go and check his site because you can probably get a fat discount right now. It is 100% worth that money. It's a really good one. Not only is it really fidgety, but it's a damn good cutter. And I just seen, hey, there they are right there. Shout out to Nafsale Official. Thank you for the 10 bones. Just signed in and saw the shout out. Thank you guys. Y'all ready for Blade? I am totally ready. I've been ready, but not really, to be honest. I got some shit I got to pack and stuff still. I like to think I'm ready. It's it's such an awesome time, man. I love going to Blade Show and seeing everybody. So it's going to be great getting to hang out with everybody. I go there and film. So, that it doesn't take any of the fun out because I think that's fun too. I enjoy doing the interviews and hanging out with people and recording shit. So it's not that takes away fun because that's fun. But the best part is when I can put that down and just fucking hang out with everybody. I know a lot of us are going to be in the pit. So if whoever's going, I'll meet you in the pit, but definitely still come up and say what's up if you see me. Nick Shabazz showed some really nice pair of 3 scales a few weeks back. That's if money isn't an issue. What scales were they though? Do you remember what company they were? Yeah, the Worn Tech is badass, 100%. Any thoughts on in centering a blade on a button lock Civivi Chevalier? I tried the paper trick several times and it won't work. So what I like to do is this. Open it. Be careful when you do this. If you cut yourself, it's your fault, not mine. Open it up, loosen it up, and then figure out which side it's leaning towards. So loosen it and then put pressure on the blade. Tighten it up really tight. Then let go, close it, and then loosen it slightly. Just back it off, and it should go right to center. That's what I would do. Now, sometimes what happens though is when you put pressure, it's difficult to tighten it all the way. So, so be careful, and you don't want to slip. The blade's open. You don't want to slip and cut yourself. So be careful. But that is a way to do it. 225. There you go. 225 on the production models and 300 for the full hollow grinds, which that's dope, man. A full hollow on there. So that'll make it not only thinner, but it'll make it even slicier because it'll have a full hollow instead of 3/4. Hey, shout out to John Evans. What's up, brother? RG Custom Metal Works. There you go. That's the one that Nick Shabazz had? There's a lot of companies with good scales, man. A lot of companies. Like my Rips Garage. Do I have them in here? Yeah, I do actually. I have those on my Kapara. It's right here somewhere. They're green micarta, or it's like green micarta, but it's really, really good. They have like a softness to them that just it feels really good, like a fabric. I got these are aluminum right here. I think Blade HQ has these ones, if there's any left. They come in different colors. What the fuck? Ha ha ha. They have better whiskey than the US, but no way they have better beer than Germany. Lead you on the path to the answer. Great service. Damn right. Damn right. Would someone tell this rookie what the pit is? The pit is so after the show in the hotel. So there's a hotel hooked up to the place, and there's like a courtyard in the middle of it, and like you can see up all the floors of the hotel, and there's like a bar and things like that. There's like some seating areas and like some standing areas. It's huge, and everybody goes there after the show and basically stays till like closing like 2 in the morning, whatever time. And I don't even know if it does close, but maybe it does. I don't know, but yeah, it winds up being packed with everybody, so that's where everybody goes and meets up and hangs out at the end of the night. I usually will show up there because usually after the show, usually go home, eat something, change, shower, whatever you need to do, then go hang out in the pit. And there's drinking and everything there, so. Richard's funny. I'm a wine guy, not a beer drinker. Ireland definitely has a better potatoes. I've made whiskey before. I actually still have a bottle of whiskey and vodka that I've made from when I worked at the distillery. Good times, good times. You can get the pair of 3 in 20 CV, crew wear, S45. Then I would go with crew wear personally. Maximet is oh yeah, I forgot they had the Maximet one. I used to have the Maximet one. The Maximet one would be the best if you're looking for straight working edge. If you're looking for an edge that just stays cutting forever, then you go with Maximet. If you want something that stays fucking crazy sharp like this thing is sticky, boy. This is crew wear right here, and it is stupid sharp, but like dangerously sharp. So if you want that, then go with crew wear. Look at that. That thing is crazy sharp, boy. Thing will hurt you though, man, if you slip. Straight to the bone. Hey dog, can only be there Friday, bringing 2 beginners with me. Well, we'll see you there. I will see you there because I will be there probably every day. We got a little entourage we're with, so we got some good people with us. So not only the people staying in the house, but also, there's a lot of people that know a lot of people, so big crowds. And everybody's so awesome, man. So it's a good time. Sid says, love the Sage 1 Maximet. Just love the blade shape and thinner stock thickness. Yeah, I agree with that because I think that is one thing that like I would personally love to see like a Delica with a compression lock because of that nice thin geometry. Pair of 3s are still good. They have good geometry, so don't take it like they have poor geometry. But there's definitely knives that have thinner geometry, right? Excited to meet some folks at the show. I'll definitely be in the pit Saturday. Very cool. Very cool. Bought a smock to customize scales, spacers, everything possible. What company should I look at to go full tie? The smock. I don't think you can check Original Goat. I don't think Original Goat has the scales for the smock. You said smock, yeah, smock. So go with try Flytanium, RC Blade Works, Rips Garage. Try those. Hey, there he is. The CAD Master's in the house. What's up, brother? Thank you for the 5 bones. I do appreciate it. How you been, man? Haven't seen you in a minute. Most of my knives are wooden handles and denim micarta. I like denim micarta. For the smock, I love Kevin's smock scales. There you go. But aren't those customs? Like, meaning like since he makes the smock, aren't they like full customs and they're very expensive? Will there ever be a USA made aftermarket scales manufacturer? Original Goat. Original Goat is 100% USA made. And they are awesome. And I have a fat discount code down in the description. Can't go wrong with them. Hey, Will, thank you, man. We have a new member. Shout out to Will. Let's see what he joined. Sorry, I'm probably backed up. Shout out to Will. He became a Benchmade. Thank you for joining, man. I appreciate it. We will be doing a Bang Gang live here pretty soon. I don't think tomorrow, but the next one next week. We might do one this week too, just because I'm not sure because of Blade Show and everything how that's gonna work out. So we might do one early this week. Raylight makes tie frag scales. Shout out to Blades and Fades. Definitely go and check his channel out. He's got an awesome YouTube channel. Knife channel, obviously. Blades and Fades. Using ginned up trans shit is an excellent puppeteer operation, like a bullseye to participate demographic. I have no idea what that means. Pair 3 is pinned. Gonna be a pain, probably. Pair 3 isn't pinned. You can get the ones with the screws. You're thinking of the pair 3, or sorry, you're thinking of the lightweight Mannix. And I think they're even screws now too. I know they probably have still some pin versions and they have other knives that are pinned, but pair 3s are not pinned. What's the point of people being what? What's the point of people being sent? YouTube just deletes them. Man, what's the point of people being sent? YouTube just deletes them. I don't know what that means either. I don't know what that means. What's that Bang Gang? That's so the Bang Gang is we do lives every other week, usually on Sundays, but because of the Blade Show, we might have to change the day this week. But we do live sharpenings where we do I set up my sharpening stuff and then we do live sharpenings and we can talk knife sharpening. And if you're a top member, I actually will do one-on-one sharpening with you without anybody there, just me and you. And you know, if you have any problems learning or anything, we can deal with it right there on camera. But you don't have to do that. Like I said, you know, you could just become a regular member and we do that. And then we do sometimes we do giveaways and stuff like that. We've done a few giveaways already. And we are going to be posting just right now. I'm because I just had to get a new editing app. So what happened was my old one crashed and I lost like all the shit I had on there, which I don't even care because I was getting so aggravated with it that I was ready to just like get a new one anyway. So it was like, you know, whatever. But now the new one that I have is like on another level. And you guys know I always talk about this, trying to be better and better and better and better. So since I mastered the old one, now I had to get a more difficult one. But now that I'm getting more difficult one, it's a lot more difficult. Like it's like 10 times the difficulty level. So there's things I have to learn, like, and I have to basically relearn this entire system. And because everything is different. Not only do I have to learn the differences, but I also have to learn all these other features. So it's a huge process. So because of that, I was planning on posting like little short form content for you guys, but I'm gonna have to kick that back until after Blade Show because I am literally, that's why you guys have seen some of the videos kind of back off like some of the editing work and stuff, and you guys seem to kind of go back in time because I can't do it yet. Like I have to learn it still. So, but I'll learn it fast. So I'm on that shit. I'll learn it real quick. Hey, Judy, while I'm signing up, shout out to Jude. Salute to you. Thank you, man. Thank you for becoming a member. And he's a Spartan. Shout out to the new Spartan. I appreciate the support. Oh, and then Fox. Fox is taking off, man. Thank you for joining, man. Good night. Can't wait for all the Blade Show stories, man. I wish you were coming. I wish you were coming. I wish everybody was coming. And I know like the majority of people are not going, but man, it'd be great if everybody was able to. I think this is going to be the best year ever. You know, I'm sticking by that. I really do. A lot of people are going, so I think it's going to be the best one yet. Had a long week now, just chilling out, hoping this headache goes away. I hope so too, man. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Try drinking a cup of coffee. That sometimes helps me. Bang gangs are like the lives, but dense with info. I watched them twice. Exactly. That's such a good point. Yes, the bang gangs are alive just like this, except for you can see the table and you can see me sharpening, and I try to fill it with as much information as possible relating to sharpening and other stuff too, steels and different knives and just whatever anybody wants to know. I usually have a list of things I'm going to talk about, and then whatever anybody asks, I answer. How do people feel about Spyderco moving to S45 as the regular steel in some of their knives? I don't mind it. I think it's good. I think it's good to upgrade, on a regular basis because we evolve so fast with steels. And that is something that all the other companies need to step up their game with because we evolve and we get sick of steels because it's like a new steel will come around, right? But we can only tolerate it so long. And then it's like, okay, move on to something else. We don't want everything to be the same stuff. Being, knife, guys, being people that really are into knives, we're into steels, we're into heat treat, we're into action, we're into all that stuff. So we want, a good variety of steels in our collection. So we like seeing, different handle materials, different steels. So I think it's always a good thing when they evolve, for sure. All right, guys, I'm out. My boy still sick, and I have to make him feel good. Spent 185 bones at the vet today. Shout out to you, Dennis, man. Make your dog feel better. I hope everything works out. I'm sorry to hear that he's not feeling too hot. But yeah, you gotta love your dogs, man. Actually, today I wasn't, I got a different story. I was gonna say we might tell a dog story today. But that's not what I have written down. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of dogs. Jared would never get sick of 14C though. No, not for the price, as long as they don't raise the price up too high. So 14C, I consider a really, really good, well-rounded steel as far as budget knives go or mid-grade, right? Mid-grade to budget, because the attributes that it has is so good for pocket knives. I mean, it was developed for knives. That's what 14C was made for. It comes from ABL, which was made for razor blades, and it was made to be heat treated on a conveyor belt. So it was made to be heat treated in large production, right? And that's the downfall to a lot of the steels. Like the reason why when you have D2, the reason why it's kind of all over the board and it's not consistent is because it wasn't made to be heat treated in large production batches. But now we have all these companies heat treating thousands of knives, right? And it's like they can't make it consistent because it's, there's so many. But there's some steels that do well being heat treated like that. And 14C is one of them. It's not that it holds like an edge for eternity or anything. It holds an edge like a little bit less than 154 cm. So 154 cm will outcut it, as far as edge retention goes. However, 14C takes and holds a finer edge than 154 cm. So, like, say if you go to polish 154 cm, it will get slick as snot. Like it'll get super slick. 14C will get super sticky and like crazy, ridiculously sharp. Also, low angle edges or thin geometry, 14C is going to excel. That's why this knife, that's why I said it's so awesome they did 14C with this, because it's such a thin blade. That's where 14C was made for. It was made for thin geometry. It's a super tough steel. It's one of the toughest steels. So it makes it to where it can hold low angle edges, so super slicey edges, super fine grits, and super thin geometry. Like literally everything we want in a blade steel, right? Now it's not going to hold an edge for eternity, but it still holds an edge for a good time. Like the one cut test I did on 14C, he treated between 59 and 60. It was 223 feet in 1-inch section of push cuts. So I did a cut test in a 1-inch section, push cuts, and this was through cardboard, and it cut 223 feet. Now imagine if that was the whole blade, right? Or imagine if I wasn't doing push cuts, if I was doing, like pull cuts or whatever, it would have cut way longer. And it wasn't dull. Remember, it wasn't dull at 223 feet. It barely, go watch it. Go watch that cut test. It barely was catching on paper. A lot of people probably would argue like, hey, why'd you even stop the test? Like it wasn't even barely catching on the paper. You should have kept going. But I did keep going. Or I did stop because, right when it starts to hang up, that's when I stopped the test. And it did phenomenal. It did really, really good. Now, like I said, now um, that's just one part though, like the edge retention, like they say, this is the weird thing is that when you look at the graphs that companies give you, a lot of them aren't based on much. And the ones that are based on the Katra tests, let's be clear, the Katra tests are not that good. So when back when a bunch of people from the community got together and tried to do a Katra test, they tried sending a bunch of knives to Katra and get them all tested, blah 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 blah, to prove stuff, because everybody was trying to say that, oh, your cut tests aren't science based, blah 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 blah. We found out how bad their tests are, because like their edges were not consistent. They didn't even deburr them properly. Like there was a lot of inconsistencies in their tests. So it starts making you wonder, like, should I trust their cut tests? They're not sharpening them properly. They're probably sharpening them on belts. I don't know if that's true or not, so don't hold me to that, but they're not deburring them properly. So, but as far as some of the graphs go, where it says like 14, like when it says like how much edge retention it has compared to other steels, they always put 14C at like a number 3 out of 10, which you would say that's pretty low, right? But in my opinion, I think it's higher than. I think it's more like a 4 or 5, maybe even a 6, maybe not a 6, 4 or 5. I say it's better than what they give it credit for, and I don't think they give it enough credit. So hey mom, I hope everything's good with you guys, man. I'll give you a call tomorrow. I hope Joe's getting some rest. I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow, mom. My one caveat is, or for my next knife, is it's got to be magna cut. I want a one and done type of folder. Finally, so as far as one, I have a video for one and dones, by the way, and I don't think there's such thing as a one and done. I just want to be clear on that. And I say that even in that video, but I do think there's great knives for a one and done. And what I mean by that is like for people that really, really only want just one pocket knife for a couple of years, and when they get done with it, they'll trade it for another one, right? There's some great knives that fit those categories. Go watch that video, the best one and done knives. But the reason why I don't think there's such thing is because I think you always need another knife for a backup. I think there's knives for different situations, and I think that when the one goes dull, you might not have time to sharpen it for a few days, so it's good to just grab one of your other pocket knives until then you can sharpen them both at the same time or something. But there's a lot of great steels, and I would say if you're going with Magna Cut, man, just make sure it's heat treated well. Make sure it's from a company that's doing a good job with it. Make sure they're heat treating it between 63 and 64, and you'll be happy. But the difference between that and a softer Magna Cut, it's a huge difference between the softer stuff and the harder stuff. 15V has been my one and done since I got it. That 15V is a beast. I know somebody in here was saying they're having trouble sharpening it, but I think they'll get the hang of it, especially now that they're a Bang Gang member. Um, okay. Um, I still love my K390 though. That could easily be my one and done. Yeah, so that's one of the things I would recommend is like K390. Because personally, I think K390 is one of the best. Yeah, I already did. Um, K390 is one of the best folding knife steels pot like you can get, but as long as it's heat treated well, like from Spyderco. Now it's not very corrosion resistant, so if you have corrosion problems, you might not like it as much. But as far as all the attributes that I love in a steel, how they take an edge, the type of edge they take, different kinds of edges they take, how they hold an edge, and how long they hold an edge, all those details, fucking K390 is like the peak. Like it takes any kind of edge you want to put on it, right? If you want a polished edge, it'll take it, it'll hold it. If you want a toothy edge, it'll take it, it'll hold it, and it'll hold a fucking edge for a long, long time. It's crazy how much K390 will cut when it's heat treated well. Bro, 15V is one of my favorites to sharpen. Yeah, no, same thing with 15V. You know, I could have put that in the same box. Same thing. 15V, but I've only got one 15V. I've sharpened a lot of K390, but as far as 15V goes, the one I have, it's the same thing. It actually has, or at least it seems like it has some of the great qualities that K390 has. Um, I've never tested them against each other, but they have some, it seems there's some resemblance. But yeah, their edges come out insane. Yeah, it sharpens up really good. Same thing with the K390 crew wear, same thing. And I always say 14C in that list of knives that, or sorry, steels that sharpen like a dream. 14C is one of the easiest steels you could possibly sharpen to get the best results. And that's why I recommend it for like beginners, because it's a steel where it's going to hold a decent edge, right? Not the longest edge, but it's going to hold a decent edge, but it's going to take a super sharp edge and it's going to be easy for you to sharpen. Your stones can cut it fast, and it doesn't matter what type of stones you use. You know, you don't have to use diamonds. I'd recommend diamonds, but you don't have to use diamonds. 15V, you have to use diamonds. K390, you have to use diamonds. 14C, you can get by with just about anything. And damn it, does it take a good edge. And then like well done, ABL. Well done, AEBL is great to sharpen. Yeah, I love AEBL on fixed blades and chef knives. Chef knives, man, that'd probably be my like favorite steel for a chef knife. But as far as pocket knives go, I prefer the 14C with a little bit better edge retention. And I like the way it takes an edge better than an AEBL. It's weird that it comes from AEBL and how differently they are. But like Mike Emler always says, you can have the tiniest little change in a steel and it just change massively. And that's the way it is between AEBL and 14C. They still hold a lot of the same qualities, but the little qualities that change, like in the way it takes an edge, is so different. Like AEBL, it gets slick with a polished edge, right? 14C gets super sticky with a polished edge. Now I'm sure there's a level of which at a low angle you can get ABL with some bitey edge, as long as the angle's low enough. But 14C takes a sticky edge no matter what with a polished edge. My one weed knife is a nice carver for my woodworking hobby. All right, let's get to Nitro V is the same as 14C, isn't it? It's similar. So it's not the same, but you could put them in the same boat. They're going to have similar attributes. So yes, you could put them in the same boat. I don't really notice much difference between them, to be honest. So, any up, oh, where'd it go? What the hell? Oh, here we go. Any updates on the stone adapter? Yeah, I have it, and I'm gonna feature it in the video that I'm gonna be doing soon. I gotta test it one more time, and then I will decide if I'm gonna recommend it or not. I'm gonna recommend it. So just give me a few days to put that video together. And I might have to wait maybe even a little bit longer just because of my editing app, but I'm gonna try to put something together, but I don't know if I'll be able to get it done before Blade's show. I think the people having issues very well may just need some better diamonds, and I bet they would have a much better experience. People gotta be persistent, don't give up so quickly. I agree. I agree. And having good diamond stones or good diamond plates is a massive thing. Make sure your stones are good. Make sure your plates are good. Make sure you're also starting with a very coarse grit. That's another thing. A lot of people start with like a 600 grit and think that it's going to sharpen up fast. No, it is not. You want to start with like a 300 grit, if not lower, especially if you're cutting a low angle. Man, I like to start at 140. So, I would pick ABL 14C over Nitro V, but that's just me. I like Nitro V, but I just like ABL and 14C a little bit better. All right. So, since we're about to get into story time here in a second. If you guys even want to do story time, I do want to talk about a couple fragrances since a lot of us are going to Blade Show. I figured it'd be a good time to talk about office fragrances. So these are fragrances that you can wear in a building, in an office, at work, in a crowd, at a show, things like that. Things they're never gonna be overboard. They're never gonna bog anybody out. Nobody's ever gonna dislike them. They're always gonna be good, but they're not overpowering. They're none of that. They're fresh, they're clean. They have the clean fabric kind of smell. So people, tend to like it. It's a good scent to be caught in an elevator with, right? These are the type of fragrances. So what do we got here? So we're gonna start off with Acqua di Gio. Acqua di Gio. I have all these linked down in the description, by the way. And Acqua di Gio is an old one, but a good one. This is a classic. So this has probably been around for like 20 years, but it's timeless. So it's the type of scent that it'll never get old because it's just a fresh, clean scent. That's what it is. Like you can think of it kind of like a good fabric softener or something. It's a fragrance, obviously, not a fabric softener, but it's got a nice scent to that. Just a nice, clean, citrusy, fresh scent. So you're going to notice that's going to be the same thing across the board with all of these. Next one of my all-time favorite fresh fragrances. This one is probably the one I would recommend the most as far as office fragrances go, but the next two they're very similar, so you can kind of go with either one. And that would be Versace Pour Homme. So this is Versace Pour Homme. It's linked down in the description. It's a citrusy, fresh fabric softener smelling fragrance. It literally smells like shower gel. Like it's so fresh. You will think that people will think they're smelling you fresh out of the shower. That's what they'll smell like. This is also a good one to spray your bed down with, like your pillows and stuff. You're having a girl come over or something, because it'll smell like they're fresh and clean. But it also still has a masculine fragrance to it. So don't take it wrong. Like it's like smelling a fabric softener. It's not. It's still a fragrance, still going to give a fragrance vibe, but in a good way. This is probably my number one office pick. If I was going to work in an office or I'm going to be in a crowd, this is a good one. Now, two that are just like that one, almost identical in fragrances, is MISSONI Wave. And I'm showing you these the most because there's different prices and stuff. So MISSONI Wave is really, really good as well. These are very, very close. Like they're almost identical. Then you have the Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense. Now, this one has a little bit more of a citrus note in it. Yeah, a little bit more of a citrus note. So it's the same thing, fresh out of the shower gel kind of fragrance. And a lot of girls really love this one. This one's on like a lot of like fragrance girls, like the girls that do fragrance channels and stuff. This is like on like most of their top 10 list. And it's pretty affordable. Or yeah, I think it's pretty affordable. The other ones are affordable, if not. This one's very affordable. So all right, now the last one. The last one is the one I'm wearing today. And this is probably the most popular fragrance on the planet. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. And I don't mean popular as in everybody's wearing it. I mean popular as in most people, if you ask them if they can only have one fragrance in their life, most of them would, a lot of them would pick this, especially like fragrance connoisseurs or whatever. And that is Bleu de Chanel, Eau de Parfum. You want to get that one because there's different ones. EDP. This is a woody, fresh shower gel, citrus. It's fucking beautiful. A lot of girls call this a sexy fragrance, right? But it's also an office fragrance because it's, like I said, it's not overbearing, it's not overpowered. You're never gonna bog somebody out with this. You're not gonna walk in and people are gonna be like, holy fucking shit. You're not gonna get that. Somebody will just be like, smells good. And that's all the think, right? Now, girls might like it a little bit more and they might, start looking your way, but you're not going to get like bad attention, right? It's not going to be where it's like, oh, fuck, that guy's here again. No, it's going to be a delightful scent. Like I said, it has that same kind of effect where it smells like you're fresh, smells like you're clean. It has a little bit of a woodsy note in there too. Not much of it though, but it is in there, especially in the dry down, which actually adds a little bit of pop to it because it's masculine while also still being a super freshy. However, there's one problem with it though. Fucking expensive. But there's a reason. The reason why it's expensive is because these are really good oils. Like this is a well-known, that's what I mean. It's like super popular because of, it's kind of like us, like how we're into knives and like, Spyderco's gonna have good heat treat. These guys got good oils, and it's not gonna be like all alcohol or anything. It's gonna be mostly the oils. Damn it, that's good though. Anyways, that is, oh yeah, and then there's all the, I don't know, can you click individual links like that? Holy shit, thank you. There's all the links to them. They're all really good though. You can't go wrong with any of them. I would recommend more, but I think that is a great list for, like I said, if you're working in an office, if you're working in a crowd, if you're going to a show, something like that. These are crowd pleasers that won't piss anybody off, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to be able to be in a group without the group thinking like, this fucking guy sprayed way too much cologne on. They'll never get that from this. That's the point. The point is they will always be happy to be around you. And I seen Daniel Cad coming in hot with the 2 Bones fragrance and story time. Let's go. So with the story time, I kind of wanted to talk about, we could do talk about dogs, because I started wanting to after Dennis was talking about his dog being sick. Shout out to Dennis. But I was going to talk about being on top of the world before, my great downfall, right? Before I fucking became a felon and all kinds of shit. But I worked myself up for years doing construction, and I did like multiple other jobs too. Like I even worked at my dad, by the way, let me just back up real quick. So I was doing construction for years, and I was working construction with grown men as a child. So I was competing with fucking animals, man. I'm talking about beasts. And very scary, you could say, like just the masculine of the masculine men. Some were convicts, some were just leather neck motherfuckers. And so it made me have very thick skin, and I didn't want to be I don't want to be a bitch. So I would try to compete with them and try to work next to them, and I would, right? And over years and over time, you start getting respected because you work really hard and you show up, and you're willing to bleed, and take the beating and show up tomorrow, right? So but then my dad, because my dad did construction too, he winds up getting hit by a backhoe, so he gets paralyzed. And because he got paralyzed, I had to take care of him for the next 13 years till he passed away. But I was doing construction. It was so difficult to do construction while taking care of him. it's like, it doesn't really work, right? So I decided to try to get a job in a nursing home for a little while, right? Because I was basically I'd be like doing kind of the same shit, except for I wouldn't be doing like bed sores or anything, because my dad, I'd have to do everything, use your imagination, everything. And he would get wounds constantly, and I'm talking about life-threatening, gaping wounds. I've done probably 1,000 surgeries, and I'm not exaggerating, not even a little bit. So many surgeries, I can't even remember half of them. And every day packing wounds, gaping wounds, like wounds that would go all the like would tunnel all the way down his legs to just big ass holes to just everything you can imagine. Anything and everything you could imagine. One time his foot came off in my hand. Anyways, but going to a nursing home would make it to where I'm right down the street from him. So if anything happens, I could get there quick. That's how I wound up losing my job too. But um I also had my own apartment. So like I was, my first apartment, by the way, fucking 18, fresh. As soon as I turned 18, bang, I got my own apartment, had my first apartment. And so now I'm having to take care of my dad, work at this nursing home, take care of him, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was still doing construction, just not full time, right? I was doing side jobs and shit. Because with my family, you're always gonna work construction. That's the way it is. At least at the time, like because everybody else does construction. Everything around you is work. Everything. Like, and it's not, it might not even be considered like construction, like building houses and stuff, but just working on stuff. Right. Uh anyway, so I wound up quitting. I wound up getting in trouble for that job because I had to dip out because my dad fell out of the fucking bed. And eventually I fucking quit and then went back into construction. And because construction started picking back up again, and was working construction again and back busting my fucking ass. But now my dad is starting to get a little bit better, so he can move now. Like in a not move, like he can walk. He couldn't walk. He was paralyzed from the nipples down, but he had a wheelchair and he could wheel around. So he started coming to the job sites and he started like, like because he was hiring people and creating a crew of people to do work and shit. And he was a fucking boss. So he always had people around him. Anyway, so working with him for years, crazy shit, man. Not going to get into him, but eventually I wound up starting to dog train, and I wanted to dog train because I wanted something different. I've always been fascinated with animals, and at that time I moved up to Kenosha, Wisconsin for like a year and a half, 2 years. I got a duplex up there, and I wound up going to school for dog training. And yeah, I became a dog trainer and I started running a dog training business for a little while. Then the everything was trying to lead me to downtown Chicago, and I didn't want to work in downtown Chicago, so I wound up closing it up after a couple years. I did it for a few years though, and I was really good at it. But it's just the environment I lived in and the place I lived in was not a dog friendly area. Everybody's dogs were like fighting pit bulls and shit like that. So, even though I rescued and saved a lot of them, and I was doing that a lot, man. I can tell you some stories on some pit bulls, but you weren't getting a lot of people like needing their dogs trained for good reasons. So I didn't I don't get me wrong, I had a lot of work for a while, but eventually it got to the point to where it was super slow and I wasn't getting the work I wanted. Um but anyways, my point is though, is that I was working my ass off until like, and I wound up getting on top of the world, like at least in my perspective. Fucking getting a big ass house. It was actually two houses on one property, in-ground pool. And I built up the in-ground pool. Like everything was beautiful. Like redid the entire property too. From floor to ceiling, everything, redid everything. So much work, so much work. Eventually I wound up losing the house, but put a lot of work into it and just had like the best people around me. Like everybody was surrounded me. Like I had a good crew of motherfuckers around me, and running job sites, running businesses, and basically being a fucking boss. But eventually, you know, like I said, as you guys know, it fucking crashed. But before that though, it was a beautiful thing for years. But I worked so hard that it was like inevitable, right? It's inevitable. You're gonna fucking succeed if you work your ass off enough, right? So, and that's why, like now, like because of my downfall, you know, and because of in my all my fault, by the way, every bit of it was my fault, but because of everything I fucked up, now it's like I want that time back, and I feel like I messed it up, so it's like I gotta get it back. So the only way I can get it back is the best way I know, and that's just working as hard as possible and grinding and grinding and grinding and working extra, extra, extra. Like however long anybody else is gonna work more than them, right? Outwork everybody as much as possible. And then I gotta, you know, catch back up, right? It's like that's just the way my mind works. You know, if you work hard enough, you'll get there. So, and I'm not saying that that's always going to be the case, but 9 times out of 10, it will be. 9 times out of 10, if you bust your ass, and you really do, because you know if you really are or not. You always know if you had more in you. And most people give up and they still have 60% more. I think that's a statistic. If it's not, it is now. That when people give up, they give up and they still have at least 60% left in them. People are just giving up too easily. And anything hard, they want to shy away from, and they say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that because it's hard. I can't do that because it's hard." And I understand, man. I understand hard. Check this out. When I was getting after I got out of jail and I got on probation, right? Probation wanted me to jump through 1,000 hoops a week, like some hoops that I knew, like looking at it was like, there's no way I'm going to prison because there's no way I can complete these things they want me to do. It's not that the things were difficult to do, it's the order and the way they made me do them. Like they wanted me to have a job, right? But yet they wanted me to go to Nakasa once a week. I had to do random drops every week. I had to go to court every week. I had to do community service every week, and they wanted to randomly stop by and drop me weekly. So it was like, you know, and that means 6 to 6 curfew. I can't be anywhere between 6 and 6. So it makes it to where it's like, how the fuck can you have a job? I can't tell a job, hey, sorry guys, I got to go to Nakasha for 3 hours, right? I can't say, hey, I'm sorry guys, I can't show up to work today. I got to go to community service. So they made it like just like nearly impossible for me to get off. But I passed it with flying colors because again, I just got the tenacity. I mean, and trust me, there were times like I just didn't want to do it. Like, and if it wasn't for some of the people around me, you know, encouraging me, I probably would have failed. But I you know, I grinded it out and I wound up completing it with flying colors. And the judge actually was wound up having to give me a little bit of money back because I completed things so early, faster than any, you know, like he told me like he had never seen anybody complete certain things as fast as I did. But it was because like I was, you know, in it to win it. Now, in order to work, would have to go at like 4 in the morning, leave 4 in the morning, had to go back to construction because that's what I knew. For a fucking crazy senile bastard. But I'd have to wake up at 4 in the morning and go get on a bus to go to another bus, get dropped off, jump on another bus, and then get dropped off, and then walk a mile or however for 6 blocks or something, 8 blocks, whatever it was, to work in the winter, in the snowstorm. And like that was a motherfucker, right? It's a son of a bitch waking up, you know, 4 hours early just to make sure you make it there, right? Maybe not 4 hours early, like 2 3 hours early. But you know, it just sucked because it made it to where when you get off of work too, when you get off of work, you're not just going home. I got to go walk to a bus, and then I got to take that bus to another bus, and I got to take that bus home, and then I got to walk from there to home. So it just, you know, the grind, man, was real. But you know, that was, it was tough, right? It was hard. But I also knew like this is what it's gonna take, right? This is what it's gonna take. It's gonna take that hard shit. It's gonna take the pain, the blood, sweat, and tears. And I think a lot of people look at things as it's too difficult, so they don't do it. and it really impairs them when if they just looked at it and said, "It's tough, but I'm gonna do it because it's tough." And, and I say this because my mind is constantly thinking like this, and hopefully it helps or encourages somebody out there, maybe it will, maybe it won't. A lot of you guys probably think the exact same way I do, so I probably don't, need to tell you this stuff, but, if so, then you can at least relate. But if not, and you are somebody that it's gonna, help somehow, some way, then, that's what it's for. Because I can tell you, man, there are times, man, I wanted to fucking give up like so many times. But my brain though is just like it's not built that way. My brain is built to push on. And instead of like giving up, it looks at the like how to fix it, like solutions, right? That's the way my brain works. Like every time there's a problem, it's like solution. That's the way my brain works. But don't get me wrong, there's been times where it's like you start thinking like there is no solution. There's no solution. And it's just like when I was running from the cops, right? When I was running from the cops, that was the only answer, in my head. The only answer was get away, right? Get away as long as you can, because when you get caught, you're fucked. Especially after you run like one time, now you're already a fugitive. When you're already a fugitive, it's like I ain't got nothing to lose at this point. At this point, I might as well run and gun it as far as I can or as long as I can. And yeah, and you you wind up getting to the edge, basically like the edge of a cliff and jumping, and then it's like there's no way but down. That's it. And that's saying like there's no way but up. In that case, there's no way but down, and that's the truth. And it's a hard fall, man. It's a hard hit, and reality kicks your fucking ass when it finally catches up to you. But you run it and gun it for so long, eventually that's going to catch up to you. And it did me. Uh, and it wasn't that like I guess you could say I was running from things because I was running from them, but I wasn't running from things or situations, I guess. But I didn't want to go to prison or go to jail or anything like that. And then you also look at it like I was trying to survive, so it's like, going to jail just made that even worse. And when my dad, was dying, I didn't want to leave him, so I was also running partly because of that too. At least in the end, hey Dan, thank you, man. I appreciate the $10. Your output percent is only limited to the number you attach it to. Never say you did 100%. It limits you every day, no matter what you do give, everything as if it was the last thing you would do. Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, make it seem like you didn't even do that much. So that shit was easy. The shit wasn't nothing. And that's actually what I do. I literally think like that. Like I think like that all day long. And it's little wins, man. It's the little wins. Because if you can do the little wins every single day, like just for an example, right? And this is stupid. I know this is stupid, so don't take this as something difficult because it is not difficult. It's the easiest thing in the world. But every morning, as soon as I open my eyes, I go and I drink a warm glass of lemon water. Why do I do that? I do that because, well, couple reasons. One, it hydrates you, right? But two, it's good for cleaning your kidneys and your liver, right? So I do it to clean my kidneys and liver because of all the years of drug use, right? I want to fucking, be healthy. So I'm trying to be as healthy as possible. And by drinking warm lemon water every morning, it's something healthy I can do right off the bat, right? I've done it for like the past like 8 months every day. I don't skip. I don't miss. It doesn't matter. Like I don't miss. So it's something I've held myself to a standard on that as soon as my eyes open, I'm jumping up and I'm going to do that. And it makes it to where when you have those little wins, and that is a little win. Remember that's not much. That's small. But that's the point. It's a small win. And if you can group those together, if you can do 10 of those a day, start with three a day, and then slowly add on another thing, and then slowly add on another thing. Next thing you know, you're doing 10 wins every single day. Now you're a fucking winner, right? And now you're winning in life because it's weird how like the small wins build up and they build up to big wins and bigger wins and bigger wins. It's not like I think a lot of people want to get lucky, and there's no luck, right? There's opportunity, right? And everybody knows that saying, so I'm not going to sit here and do cliche sayings, but I think we all want to be lucky. We all want to hit the lottery. We all want just something to magically drop on us, right? I fucking learned that ain't happening. So I think the best thing to do is to just keep on keeping on, getting small wins after another, and continue doing that so that over a year's time, if you've done great small wins every single day, by the end of the year, you are 100% going to be better than last year, right? At least that's the way my brain works. And you will be 100%. As long as you keep up with it, right? As long as you don't start turning it into negative wins, right? Because while there's wins, there's also losses. So stop taking losses, start taking wins. And you're going to have losses. Of course, losses are going to come. But if you can have more wins than losses at the end of the year, man, you're going to be kicking ass compared to last year. But you just got to keep on adding those little things. And it might be something dumb like, say, 2 push-ups a day, right? Or 1 push-up a day, right? And if you can't do a push-up, use the stairs or use a countertop where you can do an inclined one where you don't have to go all the way down to the ground, and you can easily do it because it's easier to do an inclined push-up, right? Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it is, doing some sort of reading or activity a day. I don't know, learning something. Like right now, I'm learning this fucking editing app that I'm not good at, guys. Like, look at this. Check out what I had to do to my keyboard. This is all editing tools. I've never even seen any one of these fucking things. I just put them on before I went live. I don't know what any of these buttons mean, and I have to learn every single one of them. I literally don't know what any of them mean. My other editing app didn't have things like this. It was very simple. It was very dumbed down basic, but this is just on another level. And I got to learn every single key so that I can edit properly, but I'm going to learn it. It's not about it being hard or anything. It's just about me doing it. I got to do it. So I'm doing it. And that's why the videos are backed up a little bit. Oh man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I think we all go through shit, man. I think it's good for us men to build each other up. And that's all I'm trying to do, man. Because I know I've been through a lot, and I know a lot of you have been through a lot. So like I'm not alone in that. But I've been through a lot. So I think a lot of people can relate. And if you can't relate, hopefully it can at least inspire you, right? Because man, I could, and you guys got to think, man, I don't even talk about half the shit, because I can't. I try to talk about things I can talk about, right? But you guys understand, I got to keep my mouth shut about a lot of things. So, but the things I do talk about, you guys can kind of get an idea that I've been through a lot of shit. So it makes it where you, at least I hope that people can get something from it, because it's kind of like that saying, like, when you see somebody say somebody was born into riches, right? And I'm just giving you some shit example, or say born in middle class, right? Say if someone's born in middle class and their father was middle class, their mother was middle class, they were middle class growing up. Well, as they grow up, they stay middle class, right? Same exact thing. They did good for themselves, right? Like that's awesome. That's great, right? I think that's still a win. But they stayed the same, right? But when you hear somebody who fucking grinded and like came from the dirt, like really, really came from the dirt and really truly struggled, and they wound up becoming a millionaire, right? That winds up being inspiring. It makes you feel good. It makes you think like, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's how I feel, because if I can do it, anybody can do it. And sometimes, and I doubt myself a lot, but I don't. I try not to. I used to, but now I do my best not to doubt myself and just to build myself up, because I look at other people and I'm like, if that motherfucker can do it, right? And I see some fucking idiots. No offense to anybody, but I'm not saying like on the internet. You guys know, you guys see them too. There are some fucking morons out here, and they are just like balling and rich as fuck, and just like, even if they're doing it in bad faith and like they're like, evil in a way, I guess you could say, they're still, they're winning. So at least to an extent, maybe not winning, in like God's eyes, but they're, they're winning pretty good. So I look at it like, man, if they can fucking do it, then I can do it. And I can do it better. That's the way I think. I can do it better. You can do it, I can do it. And then also it's like, when I see people working hard, I think about like, where am I slacking? Right? Like, where am I lacking? Because if you are working this hard, and I think it's hard. Like if I'm looking at you like, damn, this motherfucker's working hard. That inspires me. Like, oh man, I can work that harder, or I can work harder. I was talking to my best friend yesterday, and we were both talking about it. Like, you might be better at something than me, but you're definitely not going to outwork me, right? And if I never allow people to outwork me, then I've got to, you got to be able to succeed better than the people that aren't willing, because whoever's not willing to put in the work is going to be the one that loses, right? I think it was Andrew Tate who said this. He said, the guy who shows up to the gym every day is always going to be better than the guy who doesn't show up. And that goes with everything in life. Everything in life. The guy who shows up and does it every day is always going to be better than the guy who misses every other day or shows up every other day. Hey, thank you, man. Daniel with another 5 bones. Doing the things you may dislike teaches you more than doing the things you like. Patience and overcoming obstacles being a few. Absolutely. And then also, it's like that saying goes about hard things, right? And excuse me, there's actually like an online quote going around where it was like, I asked God for this, so he gave me this. And one of them is, I asked God for strength, so he gave me hard shit. Right. And I remember being a kid and praying for that. I remember literally praying for strength. Fucking God gave it to me. Right. And that's the way I look at it now. Like, hey, he answered the prayer. It's just, when you ask for something, just remember, you might not get it how you want it, right? He might he might answer you, but it might not be the way you want, right? So just know that. Just know that the way he answers, it's going to be the way you need it to be, not the way you want it to be. And sometimes that might mean you going through the fucking dirt and really grinding and going through shit, because how do you become tough, right? You know, how can your skin become like leather? How can you really get that type of unbrokenness, or a mind that's unbroken? Now I know some people do struggle with that mentally, and my heart goes out to you, because I don't know that, and I'll be honest, I've never had that. I've always been able to mentally overcome shit, and I've always looked on and said like that I won't be a victim, and I won't be beaten or I'm always going to make sure I overcome it, whatever it is, even at my most depressed, even at my most everything. And I'm talking about, man, I can tell you stories about me planning escapes from jail and shit. Even though I wasn't even in there long, like, just because I was that fucking crazy. But yeah, man. Elias says, back in 2006, Christopher Moltosani, whatever the hell the name, gave Jared the nod when they would pass on the street. Christopher Moltosante. I don't know who that is. Moltosante. I don't know who that is, but I'd probably give him the nod though. One person definitely knows another. That's EDC. Thank you, man. I appreciate 7 bones. Hello, by the way. Remember to like the stream. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the money. And yes, please hit the like button. I do greatly appreciate that. Regardless of what people think of him, he speaks a lot of wisdom. Thank you, man. I'm not sure if we're talking about me or somebody else, but I do appreciate it. In my 60s, congratulations. I hope I make it to 60. Just happy I don't fall down. At this age, my folks would be over 100. I thank them. Thanks, man. Love yous. Yeah, man, I know a lot of you guys, are a lot older than me, and I'm, I would be considered the young buck, but I don't think you're ever too old to do these very things. Like, I think you can always find something, you can always move on and build yourself up, even when you are old. And I know there becomes a time where it's like, just fucking relax. But I don't know, man. I hope I, you know, keep kicking until I can't kick no more. But hopefully I'll make it to my 60s. God bless. People gave Jared a hard time for pronunciation. You ham and eggers need to check your spelling. Patience. Names are also proper nouns. That's hilarious. Thank you, Lone Star. I appreciate that, man. And yes, I do get a lot of shit for pronunciation. But like I said, man, I didn't, I'm not good at that. I never like I did vocabulary when I was a kid, but I never was good at it because I never really paid attention. And the little bit I did do was not shit. I fucking was, like I said, I was so worried about other stuff, like I was so worried about I can, I can tell you guys stories, man. Like I started even like selling drugs. Like I started doing that at a very young age. First time I was on probation, first time when I got arrested, I was 13. And that I'd already been in trouble by the cops, but that was when I actually got like arrested. And I got arrested twice in like 3 months. Maybe like 6, I don't know, within a few months. But yeah, I was already working full-time jobs by then. Like I was already seasoned and working by the time I that happened. I was doing landscaping actually. And I did landscaping for I think 4 years at the time, from like 11 to like I don't know 14 or 15 or something. That's awesome. The home is still rocking tonight. Thank you, Jim Q. Thank you for joining. Um, you guys are talking to each other. Quit school in 10th to work for 11. Yeah, I did it in 9th. So I went to 10th for 10 minutes. And they were gonna arrest me for truancy. I kept leaving. I didn't give a fuck. I had to go to work. So since I had to go to work, and then my dad got hurt. That was another thing. My dad got paralyzed. So I just, dropped out. And then I went and got my GED though. I did go get my GED. Andrew Tate, what you do as well. Earlier I said you are an inspiration, brother. Oh, yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, fucking, he's got a lot of great shit, man, that comes out of his mouth. Personally, I like the dude. I know a lot of people give him shit. I love him, man. The way he talks is literally like that's my brain. Jared, I think your vocab and language is pretty damn good considering all that shit. Don't sell yourself short. I'm saying what other people say, like I know I'm limited just because I know my vocabulary is limited, and Kara helps me out though. Like like I said, you guys understand, like I talked a lot different, a few years ago, and some of the words I'd put together, Kara had to tell me, like, those words don't actually go together, like more better and things like that, just hood talk. And but I work on it, and that's another thing, I work on constantly. I constantly work on that and try to be better. But I'm still limited, and I try to have a good vocabulary because I do my best to try to sound intelligent and not sound like a dumb fuck, because I know how dumb I've sounded in the past, but I've always kind of had that, like, even it's kind of crazy because like when I was like 20, I wound up meeting up with one of my friends from the projects when I was a kid. And this dude was a white boy too, and tattoos all over his face. Fucking, you could tell he'd been gang banging and shit. And he was so illiterate, it was sickening. And at the time, I knew that, right? At the time. And I remember thinking, like, man, like if I continued, because we split up at like when I was like 12, right? But I remember thinking, like, man, if I would like stayed hanging out with him, would I sound like that? Like, because he sounded so ghetto that it was like unbearable, like I couldn't even fucking handle it. And like but when we were kids, man, that was my guy, man. I drank my first beer with him, like he was he was my boy. And it was just crazy, you know, and not seeing him for so many years. And then when I seen him, he came over to my house and we hung out for a little bit. And I remember just thinking like, and then he was all like envious of what I had because I had a really nice place, really nice furniture, you know, nice thing, you know, good things going for me. But I was busting my ass, working my ass off. I had to. I didn't have a choice for that. And he was still selling dope and shit. And not saying that I wasn't, because I still was too, but I was doing it, you know, obviously a little bit more proper, some proper dope selling. But no, man, it just it reminded me like this is who I'd be right now if you know, if I allowed it. Right. And it wasn't that I still didn't, because I was still in the same neighborhoods and stuff. It wasn't that I left or anything like that. It's just that I chose, and it was a choice. I chose to do different things. Like I chose to go to work. I chose to get up and go do construction every day. I chose to be around the hardest working people I've ever seen in my life and just surround myself with that. And it made it to where my, you know, I talked a little bit better. I didn't talk like a fucking Nimrod from the projects. But yeah, man. But you know, but even the little things though, like even though like I wasn't bad, right? I was halfway decent. I could have been, right? And I still did have little tendencies. You guys will hear it every now and then still now. Like I have little tendencies that are just habits, and Kara corrects me all the time, but I want her to, and I appreciate her correcting me. A guy robbed a gas station after I told him to be nice to folks, to leave town. All it is, we all try our best is all. I'm old school. You have my respect, Jared. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, Robert. I remember one time when I was a kid, this I was at this gas station. I was young as fuck, with my friend. My friend soon after wound up getting killed, but me and him were riding bikes, and there was this gas station, just little ass gas station, and we pulled up, and the guy had like the back door open and had like some pallets of soda outside, right? And I had planned on stealing one of the sodas, right? Because they're just outside. But I didn't yet. I didn't. I didn't steal anything yet. I just rode up on my bike, and he comes out and snags me up, and I'm a kid, like I'm just a kid, and starts blaming me for stealing his shit and says I was stealing his shit, and I hadn't stolen anything yet. And he sits me down and starts calling the cops. And I had just moved to this town like 2 hours away from where I lived before. So I didn't know this town, didn't know this neighborhood, didn't know nothing. And and this guy's telling me how he used to be a cop and all this shit, and he's like trying to scare the fuck out of me, and he was. And my boy is like, he's still on his bike because he didn't catch him. I see him riding back and forth in front of the gas station. I see him going like this, like, and I realized what he said. He was saying, break that damn door, right? Like, run out. So he's on the phone with the cops and just talking all kinds of shit. And I fucking jumped up, and the door was glass, and I hit it so hard that it opened up and shattered as it. So if I hit it, it opened up, swung this way, and shattered as it opened. And I took off running, ran around the corner, and there was a fence. I jumped the fence, and I'm running so fast because this is like like I had ran from the cops like when I was real little, but it had been a long time. So this was like a real running from the, you know, like that's how I felt, even though the cops weren't there yet. But that's how I felt because I felt like they're gonna pull up any second, like it had been that long. So anyway, so I jumped the fence, and I'm running as fast as I can, but I'm in the woods. So you can't run in the woods in the dark. It just doesn't work out. So every 10 feet, I was like, "Brr," I'd fall, boom, and then I'd just jump right back up. It was almost like I didn't fall because every time I fell, I would jump up as fast as I felt, like be like, "Brr, bam, brr, bam, brr, bam." And it was all through this wood. So I'm like, I'm just falling and falling and falling and falling, but I'm running so fast that it's like I'm falling and running still. And beating the shit out of myself too, because I can't see nothing. It's this is a town, a small town, so it's not like a big city or anything. So it you know, the woods were dark. Anyways, and now I realized after running, I realized the worst part. I don't even know where I'm at. I don't know anything. I just moved here. I don't know this town at all. My buddy that I was with, he knew the town. So he was going to ride me back home. Right. So now I'm like hoping I see him and run into him, and he's circling trying to find me, but he couldn't find me. And then the cops are out looking for me. I get to this field through these woods. I want to find in this field, and I can see it's like a cornfield. And then bam, I can see the cops. They know that I have to leave this field. They know like that this is the line, and they're already there and they're waiting for me. So they're just parked, waiting, like in the dark. I can see them like in the shadows, waiting for me to cross this field so they can come and beat my ass. So I wound up having to army crawl across this field, a cornfield, on my belly as slow as possible to get across. And I wound up getting across. And then like 4 hours later, I finally like, cause I'm walking through the neighborhoods, like just praying a cop doesn't pass me, praying that, you know, I can find something that I see that I know. And finally, after hours, I wound up seeing something that I thought I knew. And I was like, I think I know this, because I had been there for like maybe a week or something. So I'm like looking for like little indicators, you know, to get home. But I didn't drive. I was a kid. So it's not, you don't know the roads like you do when you're an adult and you drive. So fucked me up. But I finally found my way home. And then my buddy the next day was laughing because of what happened. And because when I ran out, he said that he said when I ran out, I screamed like, because his nickname was Pork Chop. And I screamed, "Run, pork chop!" And he was laughing about it. He's like, "I'm just happy you didn't say my name," you know, because that was what everybody called him though, so it didn't really matter. But no, it's funny. Rams, thank you, man. Oh, shit. Thank you for the 5 bones. Power of association is stronger than people like to admit. Your focus and persistence is inspiring. Also, top knife you want to get at Blade Show. I don't know, man. I thought about getting some of the stuff I just don't have. So I was thinking about like just some like the M48, the Medford M48. I kind of want one of those. It's titanium and aluminum, and it's super snappy. I like the knife. I think it's a good knife. It's a super slim down knife. It's expensive though. It's like $570 or like $550 or something. So that's one I thought about. I thought about possibly I want to get some USA made stuff. So I you know, just some stuff I don't have. I thought about maybe getting maybe I thought about that Benchmade, but that thing's so expensive. I don't think I can do it. Maybe I'll check it out and see how it is. If I really like it, we'll see. But I want to get a bailout. I thought about a Benchmade bailout. That's one. Maybe some more Spydercos. Just some stuff that I don't have in the collection that I think would make a good collection. Of course, there's some new stuff I want to get. But you guys gotta understand from my point of view, and this is just me being honest, a lot of the companies send me stuff, right? You guys know that. So there's certain stuff that I don't need to buy because the companies are happy to send them to me. The companies that don't send me shit are the USA made ones. So those are the ones I'm not saying none of them do, because a lot of them, don't get me wrong, some do, but some of the ones I want don't. I ditched the cops overseas, made it back, obviously. Damn. That must be tough. Did you go to the Blade Sport knife cutting competition? I don't know. I did not. Sounds like I would have wanted to though. It sounds dope. How much was the Rhea EXO Karambit? I paid 100 and what I paid for it? 120, but they came with the trainer and the sharp one, and it's aluminum, and it was a budget steel, so it's not that expensive. But I don't know about the new ones. Like, remember, the one I had was a prototype. I bought the prototype at Blade Show. So seeing that it was a prototype, I complained about a bunch of stuff. They seen my video and they're fixing the things I complained about. Supposedly they're going to be out soon. I know the other EXO is going to be dropping really soon. The EXO M, or is it K? What is it? The other EXO? No, the M. And then the K which is the Karambit one, should be really soon too. I bet you they'll have some at Blade Show. So if you know somebody going to Blade Show, they might be able to pick you up one. Chinese Knives at Blade Show. He would love to hear from you at the show. SSS heading up. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. I love my bailout too. It's actually in my hand right now. I want one, man. I got to get one. I've always wanted one. I've always wanted one ever since they fixed them, by the way. I didn't want them when they first came out because they were dog shit soft. But when they got better and better handles and everything, I've always wanted one since. So got to get one. The Karambit EXO, it's not out yet, I don't think. No, it's not out yet. It should be out soon, though, because when I did my video on the prototype, they had to fix things. So, that puts, that changes things. So I'm not sure where they're at. I will find out very soon. Like I said, the EXO, the regular one with the lock, the shorter one with the lock and the clip, that one's going to be at one of the knife dealers here really soon. And I'm going to make a post and I'm going to make a video. So don't worry. I promise I will let you guys know as soon as they're available. At least, as soon as I know. I'll take that knife rack behind you. Send me your... That was made for me by somebody nice or very special to me. So I'm very lucky to have so many great people in this community show so much love and support. That's from my buddy Patrick, but he will make you one if you want one. You can contact him, Patrick Valley. Oh man, I think it's Patrick Valley at gmail.com. I could be wrong. I'd have to look for it. If you really want to know it, just email me. Wasn't the bailout big knock that the scales were too squishy? So it wasn't just that, it was also the steel was super soft. So the steel was soft. It wouldn't, like when Super Steel Steve was prying with it, it bent. That's soft. A blade you want a blade to snap in most cases. So to bend, it's super soft and it wouldn't hold an edge for shit. So its edge just went to shit. And it's a knife, so you want the edge to last a long time. You want the edge to last longer than the toughness, to be honest, on a pocket knife, right? We're talking about a pocket knife. We're not talking about a pry bar, and we're not talking about like a hard use knife to the level of which you're going to be prying fucking doors off hinges, right? So you want the edge to last as long as possible while not sacrificing too much toughness, but you're willing to sacrifice some toughness for edge retention. What you don't want is super toughness and no edge retention. And that's what that stuff had at first, but they fixed it though. Yeah, the M4 version with aluminum scales, so good. I wanted one forever, but held out because I wasn't fond of Benchmades for multiple reasons, but I'm glad. Yeah, that's how it goes, though. I thought I seen Stasa. Oh, there he is. Stasa. Shout out to Stasa23. Can't wait for Blades. It's going to be an awesome time. It definitely will. Shout out to Stasa23. Definitely go and subscribe to him. 100% go and subscribe to him. What are your thoughts on the new immunity? I think it's overpriced. I do. It's obviously overpriced, right? It's obviously overpriced. And I'm saying that based on other things, right? Like I said, aluminum Spyderco at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, aluminum and S45 for $200 right now. That's $270. It's just there's smaller companies that are doing, knives for around the $250 mark, $300 mark. And it's for in better materials and like titanium and stuff. So it's just tough, man. It's tough to see that knife, that price. I understand it's USA made. I understand they have good warranty. I understand a lot of things, but I almost bought it. I was ready to buy it, actually. I even bought it, but then I had to cancel my credit card because I got hacked or whatever. So when it finally dropped, I waited way over a year. I had pre-ordered it like well over a year ago. And then what happened was since I had to change my credit card wasn't still applied to the purchase I made well over a year ago, obviously. So I guess I got lucky because I'm happy I didn't buy it. because at the time I was willing to buy it, but that was literally over a year ago. So it's like, big deal. Y'all gotta hate, but I'm probably going to buy the Benchmade Narrows. I know it's overpriced. I'm not gonna hate, man. I think, dude, I think that looks like a great knife. I want one, but yeah, it's overpriced. So it's gotta be something you really, really want. And like, I really want it really bad, and I almost bought it too. So, I feel you, man. I almost bought it because I was like, man, people really like to see that on the channel. But then it was like, oh, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough purchase because you start looking at other knives like, man, I could fucking go get like a Chris Reeves or something for this. Jared, that was only on the 3V model with the Grivory scales, as I recall. Yeah, yeah, I was talking about the first one. I'm talking about the first one, which was the 3V one. Yes. Yeah, I'm not talking. That's what I'm saying. After they changed it, I've wanted one ever since they changed the first one. I can see that you have to pay the butterfly tax. Yes, you do, and it is a tough tax, man. Especially with some knives, like you start because you're always going to compare, right? You're always going to compare other models, and when it starts becoming like that, they're charging more than small USA made companies. That's crazy because they're big, right? They're a big company. So being a big company, you would think they'd be able to knock the price back a little bit more. It's kind of like you don't expect things to be overpriced at Walmart, but you expect things to be a little bit pricier at mom and pa's store, right? But it's the opposite. When you start seeing, prices you would expect from a small maker from a big company, it starts making you, start thinking about your purchases. I have the Ritter Hogue, like Griptilian. Yeah, I like I like both of those, the Griptilian and the Ritter Hogue. I would like the Hogue Ritter more, but I love the whole with the version with the hole. So, and that's the Benchmade version. Often brand loyalty overcomes common sense. Yeah, I know. And that's the problem, is that there's always it's kind of like, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like Striders and stuff, they have no incentive to fix their titanium, fix their scales, fix their fit and finish or anything like that, if people are just going to buy them out so much that they're never even, as soon as they drop, they're gone, right? When you have that, it makes it to where, why would they fix anything? They think everybody's happy. So when we're talking about lock stick central, when like you can't get a knife without fucking prying the lock bar because it's got so much lock stick, it's like, oh, they like that. You can see they like it. It sells out every time. But yeah, you definitely gotta vote with your money. I agree, Jared, on the pricing. The thing on Spyderco is the novelty of their design. So with Spyderco, I'm happier with their prices. Their prices I'm not mad at. I know they upped their price a little bit, but their heat treat is so good. I'm happy. That's how I feel about it. So if a company's doing, because that's the most important part. The most important part is the heat treat, right? If my edge is going to last twice as long as most other companies with the same steel, then it's kind of worth it. And another exception for Spyderco is that pretty much every model they have, you can get aftermarket scales for, you can get aftermarket clips for. Like, you have room, and I know nobody wants to spend $200 and then go and spend another $200 on scales and shit. But if you're down like that, and if you're that deep, then it's a nice platform. Spyderco is a novelty. Spyderco makes excellent knives based around performance. I agree. Yes, they do. And that's why I don't mind paying the money for Spydercos. I think they're the best USA made company. I've been on the fence between a pair of 2 and a pair of 3. Is there a clear cut winner between the two? I personally like the pair of 2, but the pair of 3 is awesome too. So, uh, I would say either way, if you buy them and you don't like the ergos, if you get the skinny scales or the scales that don't have the humps in them, the aftermarket scales, you can make it super duper comfortable. But personally, for me, I like the PM2, even just the way it is. I think it's comfortable, but some people say it's a little sharp right here. but and it is, depending on the model you get. But I don't know, I like the PM2. I like the size of the PM2 a little bit more than the Pair 3. So I'm a Pair 2 guy. But I don't think you can go wrong with either one though. So I'm not going to try and stick the EXO like you did. That video, but I do enjoy it a lot. I'm not going to try and stick the EXO like you did. I like that video, but I do enjoy it a lot. You talking about in what did I do? I stuck the EXO in something like a skull, or what did I stick it into? Oh, the watermelon. Tell them to get some damn calluses. I never intended to become a Spyderco fanboy, but here I am. Thanks to Jared. That's how it goes. And me neither. Me neither. Trust me. I hated them. When I first came to this community, like I would get like I'd turn on a knife channel, like I'd turn on Stasa 23 and he'd pull out a Spyderco and I'd be like, oh fuck. Another fucking Spyderco. Here we go. Another PM2. But now it's like I'm all about it. That's how it goes. The longer you're in, the closer you're gonna get. That's how it's gonna go. The longer you're in the community, the closer you're gonna get to fucking Spider goes. Your thoughts on the Zan and MagnaCut? So I hear they're doing 64 to 65 HRC as far as Chris Reeve goes. So I have to imagine, I haven't tested it, so I can't confirm, but I have to imagine that it's really, really good. I have some MagnaCut about almost 65 HRC, and it's phenomenal. I love it. Holds an edge forever. So I would I'd say it's probably really, really good. All right, dude, we're gonna stay here for about 5 more minutes. I hate just clicking off, so we're gonna stay for about 5 more minutes. So just finished up a Strider slash Medford. Oh, the yeah, the 0.75 or whatever the fuck it's called, 18 degrees per side, and a Heretic Wraith at 17. I'm fucking sore. Yeah, it sometimes it can be brutal, man. I know with me, when I'm freehanding, my carpal tunnel will kick in like crazy, especially if it's already been acting up. Like if I do a cut test and then I sharpen, I gotta keep those days separate. But even with fixed angled systems, it can do that. I'm going to quote an older YouTuber, but when choosing a knife, you should always look at philosophy of use if you have to get just one. I actually used to say, because when people ask me like, hey, what knife should I get? I always ask multiple questions. Like, one, what's your purpose? Like, what do you want it for? Right? Do you want a construction knife? Do you want it, are you doing carpentry? Are you an electrician? Are you just getting an EDC knife? Is it a rescue knife? Is it a self-defense knife? What are you wanting it for? Right? Then my next question is always, how much money you got? Right? Because my answer is going to be different. Like, what I might want to say, you might freak out when you see the price. So it's better to just tell me, hey, I got $50. I'm looking for a utilitarian knife that I can carry for EDC because I'm an electrician and I want a pocket knife for when I'm off of work. Or, I had $100 and I'm looking for a knife that's very versatile that can do just about anything well. Right? Or I'm looking for a knife that can, that can skin deer, and I only got $50. What you got? You know what I mean? Like, give me some, some shit to work with. They look ugly at first, but once you use them, you understand it and acquire a deep appreciation for them, especially if you sharpen them. Agreed. Because that's what happens is you wind up realizing like, oh, they're ugly, but they work so well. And they're built to do that. That's the point of them. They're not built for like a lot of knives, like the person's thinking of style and attractiveness and like, man, that's an attractive looking knife, but they're not thinking like, how well does it work? Right? There's a lot of knives. When I first got in the community, I was like, man, that thing is sexy. I love that knife. But then I'd get it and be like, man, this thing sucks. Like to use, right? It's like, man, it doesn't cut for shit because geometry cuts, right? So they're made to cut, and the steels are really good. So when you sharpen, anytime I sharpen up a Spyderco, I know without a shadow of a doubt it's going to be a great experience for me, at least. When I sharpen a Spyderco, I already know because and especially because I know what edge to put on what steel, and I already know I'm going to do a low angle. So I'm always like, I already know, man, this is about to be a good time. Cough, cough, hinder. Reverse harpoon makes it difficult to index the tip for personal protection. All right, 1 minute. I'll see you later, brother. I am really anticipating the micro Jimbo. Yeah, me too. Great utility cutter in a non-alarming size. Great work. I agree. I actually have my big old bastard right here. But yes, no, I'm wanting one of those too. I'm thinking about cutting a finger choil on my big dog. I've seen a lot of people modify these, modify the blades, modify a choil or a finger choil. I've even seen them cut off the backs. I've seen them make this an actual worn cliff. I've seen so many different versions of this from modifications. I've never seen, all right, I've never been a Yojimbo guy, but micro Jimbo looks badass. It does. No, it does. And it's going to be dope. I'm definitely going to get one of those 100%. Hey, Mike Jones with another 5 bones. Thank you, brother. I just sprayed Mancera red tobacco for the first time. Bomb. By the way, I sent you some $15 cologne because the bottle is cool as fuck. You should get it Wednesday. All right, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Holy shit. I appreciate that very much. And I've got the Mancera, I've got the other one, I can't think of the name of it. The Mancera. I can't remember the yellow one, the one that looks like piss. I got that one. And I like it. I like it. It's a strong pineapple scent, not like sweet pineapple, but like pineapple plant. Like it smells like plant, pineapple, citrus, um, fresh, but very fucking masculine. It literally is a great it's like Creed Avantis. It's just like Creed Avantis, but it has like something else in it that just makes it, a little bit different. So I wouldn't say they're clones, but I would say they're in the same boat. They're together in the same boat. All right, guys. I guess we should take off, let you guys get to bed. I'm gonna read this last comment. There was an auto Spyderco I wanted for the longest time, but got tired of looking for it and forgot the name by now. It's what's weird because there are so many. I bet you out of any company, the only one that might be topping Spyderco is maybe CRKT, but Spyderco has more knife designs than anybody can imagine. Like they have like thousands of knife designs that you would never even think you wouldn't remember because they only made like 100 of them or 1,000 of them, or they only made them for like 6 weeks or something. I don't know, because there's so little of them made, specific ones that you look at it, you're like, I've never even seen that. There's so many of those because they will do the weird. That is one thing you got to give Spyderco credit for. They'll collaborate and they will do the weird. At least they used to. They haven't done it in a while, but I bet you we got something coming. Hey, Q Ball. Thank you, man. Thank you for the 5 pounds, Jared. Sigh. I give in. What light, not too strong cologne should I bring to Blade Show? I'm very sensitive and allergic to a lot of perfumes. Actually, I have a list down in the description, so I'll go through them really quick. My number 1 pick, because it smells like fresh dryer sheets, kind of. Not like literally just like that, but that's what it makes you smell like you're fresh out of the shower clean. And that is Versace Pour Home. It's linked down in the description. Versace Pour Home. And it's very affordable. Now, if you're going to spend the money, another one that's very similar to this would be the MISSONI Wave. It's also pretty affordable, MISSONI Wave. But if you want one that's it's it's a little bit woody, but it's also very fresh, very citrusy. Same thing, dryer sheet, fresh shower jelly kind of smell. It's like it's a clean scent. It's one that's nobody's ever gonna not like. Nobody's ever gonna be fogged out. Nobody's ever gonna think it's overpowering. It's never gonna be like that. None of these fragrances are like that. But the last one, if you got the money, because this one's expensive, Bleu de Chanel. Bleu de Chanel is expensive, but it is damn good. Um, that one's got a little bit of a woody note, but like I said, this one's perfect for anybody. This will work for anybody. You can wear this to the gym. You can wear this to the office. You can wear this to a show. It's the type of fragrance that nobody will be mad at because it's gonna you're just gonna smell fresh and clean. No, I mean it's a cologne, but it's not like a cologne. It's a freshie, you know. Like I said, it smells kind of like fresh dryer sheets or something. So like if you sprayed your bed with it, you would think like your sheets just came fresh out of the dryer or something, right? And that's the point of it. The point of it is to wear like in the office or something. And you know what better to smell like than like fresh, you know, fresh out of the dryer, but in a good way. Like is it's not like literally like smelling a dryer sheet. It still has a good like citrus note to it. That's really good. So that is what I would recommend. Number one, but the other ones are all really good. Everyone down there is really good. You got the classic Acqua di Gio. This one's been around for like 20 years. It's an absolute classic. It'll never get old. It'll always be at the top of a lot of people's lists because it's just a freshie. That's it. And then the Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Intense, same thing. Citrusy, fresh, shower jelly. When I say shower jelly, I mean a blue fragrance. So like, you know how like deodorants smell and like men's shower gel and stuff, that type of scent. That's what these fragrances smell like. They are blue fragrances. Blue means fresh shower jelly, like type of fragrance, like clean, fresh fragrance. Because there's other fragrances like spicy fragrances for gourmand, like they almost smell edible. These are not those. These are fresh fragrances, all blue fragrances. So that is what I would recommend. Until next time, guys, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for all the donations. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for always using my links. I do greatly appreciate you guys using my links. And if you don't use my links, please start, because I always put them down in the description. And if you guys knew how much work I put into links, if you guys only fucking knew. Earlier today, I probably spent about an hour and a half getting links for the video I posted earlier. So I'm always working hard as hell on the links for you guys. I get them individually, so you guys don't have to click on the thing, unless if I can't, because there are times where you have to click on the site and you just have to type in the name of the thing. But 99.99% of the time, I will get the actual link, so you don't have to search for it. I literally go out of my way, not out of my way, you know, but I do go out of my way, but I do my best to make it as simple as easy as possible for you guys, so that you guys are okay using my links. So I know a lot of guys out there, a lot of guys don't put that effort in. They literally will just link the site, and you guys know that, and you guys will have to go to the site and then still find it, right? Not with my shit. I link the actual thing so you can get right to it. Anyways, I appreciate you guys using my links. And again, thank you for all the donations. Thank you guys for all the support. Shout out to the Bang Gang squad. Shout out to all the members. We will be doing a live probably sometime this week because of the Blade show coming up, because it's supposed to be next Sunday, not this Sunday. But we might improvise, and I would do it tomorrow, but I have family coming over tomorrow, so we're probably going to do it. Hey, Fiend, coming in hot with the 5 bones right at the end, man. Thank you, man. Shout out to Q1 Fiend. And we are going to be, man, thank you so much. We are going to probably do one before the weekend, possibly. We'll see how it goes. So either way, we're going to have one before I leave for Blade Show. I love you guys. Until next time. Peace.